This page is the striking cover of the weekly SEGA Saturn magazine, dated April 3, 1998. The central feature is Sakura Wars 2. With a large, dynamic title and prominent artwork of a character from the game, it highlights a substantial 10-page scoop on the title, emphasizing its imminent completion and emotional themes. The cover also heavily advertises a special feature on the Tokyo Game Show 98 Spring, promising a detailed look at the titles being showcased. Key games mentioned include the upcoming Super Robot Wars F Complete Edition and Neon Genesis Evangelion, Girlfriend of Steel, noted as a new title with its first public reveal. Other notable games listed are Langrisser's IV, Mobile Suit Gundam Side Story, Grandia, Shining Force 2I Scenario 2, and Radiant Silverguns. This cover clearly indicates the magazine is packed with news on major sequels and anticipated releases for the SEGA Saturn around the time of the Tokyo Game Show. This page is a vibrant promotion for the Tokyo Game Show 98 Spring, starring the legendary Sagata Senshiro. Set amidst blooming cherry blossoms and falling petals, symbolizing spring, Sagata Senshiro stands dramatically, holding a large scroll bearing his iconic catchphrase, "It's the spring of games, SEGA Saturn Shiro." The page serves as an event guide, providing essential details for attendees. A box in the lower left corner lists the Tokyo Game Show 98 Spring's location at Makuhari Messe, its dates from March 21st to 22nd, and operating hours. It also includes ticket information, noting advanced general tickets are 800 yen and same-day are 1,000 yen, with free entry for elementary school students and younger. The text prominently highlights Sega's booth location as B1 and encourages readers to experience the game show. This page perfectly captures the excitement surrounding Sega's presence at the major industry event that was a focal point of the previous page's feature. Spring on the SEGA Saturn brings a wave of new titles. Sakura Wars 2, Thou Shalt Not Die, the sequel to the popular tactical RPG, is set for release. The House of the Dead, a light gun shooter, offers a terrifying zombie experience. Sports fans can enjoy Pro Yaku, Greatest 998 for baseball, and Sega Worldwide Soccer 98 Club Edition for football. Neon Genesis Evangelion, Girlfriend of Steel, an adventure game expanding the series, is also highlighted. Additionally, there are announcements for the revival of Evangelion movie, a Sagata Senshiro theme song C&D, Sega Partners fan club recruitment, and a Sega Saturn Festa event. This page is the contents list for the SEGA Saturn magazine, showcasing the articles featured in this issue. The magazine highlights several exciting releases for the spring season. The main features, detailed starting on page 18, focus on 3 highly anticipated titles: Sakura Wars 2, Thou Shalt Not Die, the adventure game Neon Genesis Evangelion, Girlfriend of Steel, and the concluding part of the strategy RPG Super Robot Wars F Final Chapter. Further into the magazine, page 38 offers a special report filled with the latest details on various hot topics. This includes coverage of Falcom Classics 2, the tactical RPG Langrisser V, the End of Legend, the unique survival game Linda Cube Complete, and the second scenario of the acclaimed Shining Force 2Y, subtitled The Targeted Child of God. Other titles featured are Dragon Force 2, To the Land Where the Gods Have Gone, Waku Waku Puyo Puyo Dungeon, Melty-Lancer, Reinforce, Seifuku High School Countdown, and the classic compilations Sega Ages and Phantasy Star Collection. The magazine then moves to focus on titles from the publisher, especially on page 66, covering Mobile Suit Gundam, Giran's Greed, Slayers Royal 2, Grandia, Digital Museum, and the RPG Lunar 2, Eternal Blue. Also included are features on Gangriphon 2/Code R, and the legendary shooter Radiant Silvergun. An illustration of Sophia Estede, from Langrisser V, is prominently displayed on the right side of the page. This page serves as the comprehensive table of contents and game index for this issue. On the left, you'll find the regular features covering news, reader submissions, game data, columns, and reviews, spanning pages from 4 to 200. The main body of the page presents the Game Index, listing a wide array of Sega Saturn titles covered within, organized by Japanese syllabary. Key featured games include action titles like The House of the Dead and Burning Ranger, RPGs, such as Panzer Dragoon Saga and Sakura Wars 2, Thou Shalt Not Die, fighting games like The King of Fighters 97 and Fighting Vipers, and strategy games including Dragon Force 2 and Bomberman Wars. Many other titles from various genres are listed with their corresponding page numbers, guiding readers through the articles and reviews. Prominently highlighted features cover new releases starting on page 122, upcoming games on page 124, a detailed look at Fighting Vipers on page 184, and a report on the Tokyo Game Show 98 Spring on page 8. Visually, the page is dominated by a large illustration of Sophia Estede from Langrisser v. The End of Legend, confirming coverage of this title despite the index potentially listing it under Langrisser 2i on page 39. This index provides a great overview of the diverse range of SEGA Saturn software getting attention in this issue. This page dives into the world of SEGA Saturn's iconic mascot, Sagata Sanshiro, focusing on his recent commercial appearances. The main feature highlights a sweet, romantic commercial promoting Sakura Wars 2, Thou Shalt Not Die, which was released on April 4th. Departing from his usual intense action-packed style, Sagata Sanshiro is seen here alongside Sakura Shinguji from the game, portrayed by her voice actress, Chisa Yokoyama. The article describes the filming experience, noting actor Yasuhiko Fujioka's, Sagata Sanshiro, shy reaction to the romantic theme, while Yokoyama-san expressed excitement about working with him. This charming CF aired from March 20th. Additionally, there's news about a Sakura Wars musical Sakura Teisen Kadan Otome, also premiering on April 4th, with details about promotional broadcasts. The page also touches upon another Sagata Sanshiro commercial, this one for the intense arcade port, The House of the Dead, filmed in mid-February. This production was much more physically demanding, involving numerous short sprints. The demanding shoot reportedly led to Fujioka-san sustaining a leg injury requiring medical attention, though he managed to complete filming with taping after training with dumbbells. Finally, there's a brief mention of NEC Interchannel hosting a game show event in Kansai on March 22nd, featuring a stage show and merchandise sales. This page details several exciting events and initiatives from SEGA. First up, the Shinjuku Joypolis Spring Carnival is underway, celebrating the debut of the new Gekiryu Wild River attraction. The event features a prize campaign where answering quizzes can win you luxury prizes, and a thrilling Chance of Wild River event with prizes like tents and camping gear. There are also wild live comedy performances on various dates, featuring popular acts like X-Gun, U-Turn, Fork Dance de Narisaka, and Boomer, promising lots of laughter. Next, SEGA is offering free entry services for women at their ATP locations in Shinjuku, Yokohama, Fukuoka, and Osaka ATC Galbo until April 12th. Different criteria grant free entry on specific weekdays, such as wearing a miniskirt on Mondays, being a group of 2 or more women on Tuesdays, female students on Wednesdays, those receiving nail art on Thursdays, and career women on Fridays. Third, a nationwide cul-de-sac tournament was held at SEGA's headquarters in Haneda. Strong players from across the country gathered, including participants from far-off places like Fukushima and Shiga. Around 100 players competed in unique rule sets. The results table shows the top competitors and their final scores. Finally, production has begun on a full digital OVA adaptation of the manga, Blue Submarine No. 6. This project, overseen by Satoru Ozawa, involves notable staff, including character design by Range Murata. The OVA is set to be released on various video formats. The next page kicks off with news from Harajuku, where a new shop called Asovini has opened, packed with goods featuring popular digital characters like Sonic the Hedgehog and Parappa the Rapper. The opening event drew large crowds, eager to see these beloved figures. Shifting gears, new items are now available in the Angelique Precious series, adding to the collectible options for fans. We also get an update on recent SEGA Saturn game launches, highlighting the successful release of Eve the Lost One and Welcome to Pia Carrot 2 on March 12th. The report notes significant excitement and long lines of customers queuing up in the rain, showing the strong anticipation for these titles. The reception has been exceptionally positive. In other news, SEGA is reportedly preparing for the next generation of hardware, particularly in the North American market. The article suggests SEGA is analyzing lessons from the SEGA Saturn's performance and the earlier 32X add-on's failure to inform their future strategy, aiming to strengthen their software business and move forward effectively. Finally, the page features several music releases, including albums or singles from artists like Yoshida Miki, Tanoshida Ai, Spitz, Blow, and Kuling, as well as soundtrack releases from Amadwal and the Zunta team members OGR and Tamayo, offering a variety of new music for fans. This page features the Today's Target of Saturn Users section, Volume 13, spotlighting Nara Saori, a young talent aiming for world domination as the female Sakai Masaaki. At 13 years old, she shares her current interests, including a newfound enjoyment for taking photographs and appearing in them, leading to an upcoming photo book. Her future dream is to become a multi-talented entertainer, known for making people laugh, although she admits she often laughs herself first. She's quite playful, spending more time playing at home than with friends, engaging in activities like mole whacking by putting stones on molehills and playing with her pet rabbit, whose name changes daily based on her mood. Previous names included Takoyaki and Kalpis. A key highlight for Saturn users is her appearance in the game Usama Game. She confirms her role and notes that players can see her in various outfits within the game, including a sultry bunny costume, a swimsuit, and a sailor uniform. The profile confirms her birth date, blood type, and lists interests like table tennis, track and field, ballet, piano, and a unique skill of giving names. She asks readers to support her, the exploded 13-year-old, as she pursues world domination, leaving the specifics to the imagination. The Tokyo Game Show 98 Spring, held at Makuhari Messe on March 21st and 22nd, promised a massive gaming experience. Attendees paid 1,000 yen, while kids entered free, with doors open from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. The show featured the SEISA Award, 97 nominations, where attendees could vote for their favorites. SEGA Enterprises showcased new titles, including Sakura Wars 2, and hosted special events, highlighted by the appearance of Sagata Sanshiro, Hiroshi Fujioka. The legendary figure discussed his commercials and shared his top SEGA Saturn picks. ASC2 revealed Game Basic for SEGA Saturn, enabling game creation on the console. Enix partnered with SEGA for a video presentation, focusing on, "Let's become the coach of the Japanese national team." The show also included events like Shining Force 2 iTalks, live music, and a demo for Kumitate Battle Kukito, a baseball talk celebrating a new game, and the season's start was also held. The Tokyo Game Show 98 Spring, beyond SEGA's booth, was packed with diverse events. The main stage hosted comedy battles, radio broadcasts, and talks. Exhibit halls buzzed with activity as companies showcased their games and engaged fans. Imagineer sold trading cards, while NEC Interchannel offered demos and giveaways, especially featured Baroque and Gungraphon 2 demos and contests. Koei had Angelique voice actor talks and a race contest. Konami hosted a radio broadcast and a manager corner. Compile held Puyo Puyo tournaments and a live show. Nihon Flex ran a Densha de Go tournament. Bandai celebrated Girin's Greed, and Banpresto held a Soku Seitokai tournament. Other highlights included Atlas tournaments, Increment Poo merchandise, Slank's King of Fighters, 97 video, Capcom's Pocket Fighter tournament, Kodansha's Kindaichi case files, 2 events, Taito's Zuntada live stage, and Media Quest's Super Tempo talk show. Riverhill Soft presented a comedy performance, and Warp exhibited Enemy Zero. The show's variety extended beyond game demos, encompassing tournaments, performances, and unique displays. This page showcases the SEGA Saturn Magazine Datastation's weekly software sales ranking, presenting the top 15 best-selling games. As the weather warms up, sports games are gaining popularity. The magazine notes a slightly quieter week for new releases, looking forward to what the next week will bring. Topping the chart is the adventure game Dukoku Soshite, recognized for its strong narrative and character art. Securing the second spot is Sega Worldwide Soccer 98, a key sports title, depicted with an action-packed soccer scene. The third position goes to pro baseball team Wo Tsukuru, a simulation game focused on building and managing a baseball team. Further down the list, the intense action game Burning Rangers takes 4th place, followed by J.League Jikuhanu no Striker, another popular soccer simulation, at 5th. The ranking also features diverse titles like the winter sports game Winter Heat, the acclaimed RPG The Legend of Heroes 2-1, Prophecy of the Moonlight Witch, the dating simulation Sentimental Graffiti, and popular collections such as Sakura Wars and the Virtua Cop Special Pack, demonstrating a varied market reflecting current gaming trends. This page delves into user desires and arcade trends, presenting wish lists for SEGA Saturn ports and rankings of popular arcade games. The first major section, User Data Top 20, reveals what games Saturn owners are hoping to see brought to their console. Topping the list is the crossover fighter Marvel vs. Capcom, followed closely by the iconic Final Fantasy series and Dragon Quest series, showing a strong demand for major RPGs. Other highly requested titles include Xenogears, Street Fighter II Eyes, and Virtua Striker series, highlighting the varied tastes of the Saturn fanbase across different genres and platforms. Below this, the Shop Data Top 15 showcases the most popular arcade games. The fighting genre dominates here, with Virtua Fighter 3 TB and Tekken 3 leading the pack. Other popular titles include Virtua Striker 2, Virtual On, and Marvel vs. Capcom, demonstrating the enduring appeal of intense competitive experiences in the arcades. Highlighted as a one-point check game is Ehrgeiz, the sixth most popular arcade game, noted for its unique 3D fighting mechanics. Rival Schools, United by Fate, ranked 15th in port requests, also gets a feature, suggesting its growing popularity. The page includes screenshots from Xenogears, the Noel series, Ehrgeiz, Virtua Striker 2, and Rival Schools, giving a visual taste of the games being discussed. This page presents the SEGA Saturn user data's hopeful new soft top 30. Checking out highly anticipated games based on user input. The introduction mentions the recent Tokyo Game Show, where many upcoming titles were revealed, and specifically highlights Sakura Wars 2 as a title that won't disappoint. The top spot goes to Sakura Wars 2, Thou Shalt Not Die, showing strong anticipation despite its development progress being unknown. Screenshots are included, and text mentions upcoming reveals like the opening and new costumes. Super Robot Wars Philly Complete Edition takes the second spot, with a 95% development complete status, featuring screenshots and discussion about new characters and the story's direction. Third is Darkstalkers 3, already 100% complete according to the data, with text noting its beautiful opening and high expectation, accompanied by a fighting screenshot. Also featured are Sega Ages, Phantasy Star Collection at rank 28, bundling classic Sega RPGs, and the Coming Soon section highlights Linda Cube Complete, a popular title coming to Saturn. The main top 30 list includes other highly anticipated games like Mobile Suit Gundam, Guren's Ambition, Virtua Fighter 3, Resident Evil 2, Marvel Superheroes vs. Street Fighter, and Dragon Force 2, covering various genres from fighting and RPGs to strategy. Gungrafon 2 and Dragon Force 2 receive special spotlight features with screenshots, mentioning potential online play for Gungrafon 2 and improved strategy for Dragon Force 2. This page presents the weekly Reader's Race, where SEGA Saturn owners vote on released games to rank them based on average score. This is volume 92 of the ongoing feature, with the magazine highlighting the intense competition at the top, and even a fierce battle at the very bottom of the rankings. It notes that a total of 937 Saturn titles have been released. The ranking table shows Grandia has reclaimed the #1 spot. A Girl Who Chants Love at the Bound of This World holds steady at second place, followed by Devil Summoners, Soul Hackers, Thunder Force V, and Chaos Seed rounding out the top 5. Other high-ranking titles include Coldcept, X-Men vs. Street Fighter, J-League Pro Soccer Club, Otsukuru, Eve Burst Error, and Lunar, Silver Star Story. Commentary notes that the return of Grandia to #1 is significant, and that many newly released, highly discussed titles are impacting the overall ranking. It specifically points out that established games like Chaos Seed and Azel, Panzer Dragoon Saga, are seeing their positions slip, as are titles such as J-League Pro Soccer Club, Otsukuru, and Solo Crisis. Screenshots feature the action game Burning Ranger and the unique simulator, Sureike, Suichu Cruiser, highlighting their presence in the rankings. The page emphasizes that the rankings are real-time, based on reader votes, encouraging participation. This page continues the SEGA Saturn Reader's Race rankings for volume 92, listing more games further down the chart from the previous page. The main focus is on highlighting new releases that have made a strong debut in the top 25 this week. Featured prominently are 4 new games. Debuting at 11th place is the adventure game Suchi Pai Adventure, Doki Doki Nightmare, receiving a very high reader score. Reviews praise its detailed visuals, adaptable story based on player actions, and the charm of its characters, noting a sense of relief and satisfaction from the game. At 19th is another adventure title, Dukoku Soshite, also with a high reader score. Readers appreciate its branching story, plentiful events, emotional ending, and overall presentation, including graphics and sound. Entering the chart at 20th place is the shooter Battle Garega. It garnered a strong reader score, though reviews mention its difficulty. Players find the challenge satisfying and appreciate the graphics, but some note frustration with the lack of mid-level saves and the interface. Finally, at 24th is the 3D shooter Stellar Assault SS. Reviewers consider it a well-executed 3D shooter that is easy to pick up yet offers depth, allowing players of all skill levels to enjoy it. Comparisons to its 32X predecessor are made, with notes on differences in visual style and the impact of cutscenes. The page concludes with the remainder of the ranking table and a brief, seemingly unrelated conversation snippet. This page continues the SEGA Saturn Reader's Race Volume 92, highlighting several new releases entering the charts. Featured prominently are 3 games debuting in the rankings. First, at 31st place, is the action game Burning Rangers. Readers find it highly addictive, praising the procedural generation system for replayability and the engaging rescue mechanic. The atmosphere, boss battles, and character voices are also highlighted as strong points, making it a compelling experience despite some initial interface confusion. Next, at 33rd place, is Yukyu Gensokyoku's second album. This simulation RPG ranks well, with readers enjoying the continuation of the series world. While some wished for full voice acting, the game is still considered a solid entry. Comments note slight changes from the first game, but overall satisfaction with the content. Finally, while not ranking as high, 2 other new releases are noted: Farland Saga at 211th and Sega Ages. Power Drift at 252nd. Farland Saga, a simulation RPG, is described as a solid PC port with a good story, though some note issues like slow responsiveness. Sega Ages, Power Drift, an arcade racing port, is praised for its faithful recreation of the arcade experience and sound, though the lack of a versus mode is seen as a significant drawback. The page also includes a lengthy continuation of the Volume 92 ranking table, listing games from position 341 downwards. A small section points out some games that experienced significant drops in rank this week. This page continues the SEGA Saturn Reader's Race Volume 92, presenting a massive list of game rankings from the 400s down into the 700s. It showcases a wide variety of titles, reflecting the diverse tastes of Saturn owners at the time. Beyond the extensive data tables, a small but intriguing section highlights the fierce battle occurring at the very bottom of the charts, titled, "What's Happening on the Battlefront of the Emperor at the Lowest Rank? The capable ones from past generations are gathering." Quote, "It paints a dramatic picture of the lowest-ranked games." The commentary playfully discusses the struggle of characters or games once considered strong performers, now languishing at the bottom. It mentions Planet Soldier, a former emperor, likely a character from the Siberia Reload series, a screenshot of which is shown, who is now barely keeping pace. Another figure, Lord Death, is described as isolated, having been surpassed by Mr. Nisadef. These characters seem to represent specific games or perhaps even persistent low-ranking contenders within the reader's race history, creating a humorous narrative around the least popular titles this week. The section is accompanied by illustrations of characters and a screenshot from what appears to be the polygonal action game Reload. The next page continues the SEGA Saturn Reader's Race Volume 92, with features focusing on upcoming games, reader feedback, and peripheral rankings. It highlights games like Langrisser, Dramatic Edition, White Witch, Another Hero's Legend, and sports titles such as Sega Worldwide Soccer 98 and J-League Live, including screenshots and average scores from the magazine. Player comments discuss specific gameplay aspects, like AI issues in sports games or presentation style. The page also promotes upcoming releases, inviting readers to predict the debut performance of titles like Neon Genesis Evangelion, Girlfriend of Steel, and The House of the Dead in prediction games. There's a ranked list of SEGA Saturn peripherals based on reader scores. Participation details for the reader's race and its associated prediction contests are outlined, along with announcements of winners for previous rounds who received various peripherals and software. It offers a snapshot of the current state and future excitement of the Saturn library from the perspective of its passionate player base. This page is a vibrant showcase for the highly anticipated Sakura Wars 2, declaring, "Blossoming just before your eyes! Super! Fast full bloom special feature 10 pages!" It features a large, beautiful illustration of Sakura Shinguji, the series protagonist, in her combat attire, holding her sword, set against a backdrop of blooming cherry blossoms. The page also prominently displays the bold Sakura Taisen 2 logo. The text highlights the game's impending release, stating that spring's breath is now upon us, building excitement as spring break approaches. It mentions the first print run will feature special packaging adorned with illustrations by Kosuke Fujishima, making early reservation desirable. The page emphasizes the game's focus on Sakura Wars 2, proclaiming it's all about the sequel. Further details include information about the game's appearance at the Tokyo Game Show 98 Spring, announcing that the opening movie and playable demos will be available for attendees. A brief section introduces Katsuya Uba, the development producer for Sakura Wars 2 at SEGA CS2R&D, with a photo and a short comment expressing confidence that the final product will be completed soon and readers should experience it for themselves. Key release information is also listed. The game is set for release on April 4th, priced at 6,800 yen for 3 discs, and is a dramatic adventure game suitable for all ages, with support for the shuttle mouse. This page serves as an exciting teaser just before the game hits shelves. This page delves into a brand new system in Sakura Wars 2 called the Ogami Personality Gauge. Located at the bottom right of the adventure sequences, this gauge visually represents whether the protagonist, Ichiro Ogami, is leaning towards soft-hearted, Nanpa, or hard-boiled, Kuha, fluctuating based on the player's choices within the live interactive picture system, or LIPS. The gauge itself is shown with red indicating soft-hearted and blue indicating hard-boiled. Choosing light-hearted or gentle responses fills the red portion, pulling Ogami towards a soft-hearted disposition. Conversely, opting for more serious or direct answers increases the blue, making him hard-boiled. The game notes that while this system affects the nuance of Ogami's dialogue and interactions, it doesn't seem to drastically alter the main story path, so players shouldn't feel overly stressed about their choices. An interesting impact highlighted is how the personality gauge can affect the available LIPS options. For example, when interacting with Oriheim Soletta, the standard choices might be talk to Oriheim or watch quietly. However, if Ogami is sufficiently soft-hearted, a unique third option, say, who's there, might appear, leading to a potentially different reaction from her. This suggests the system adds depth and replayability by changing interaction possibilities based on Ogami's developed personality. Get ready, because the next page promises the grand reveal of the game's opening movie. Sakura Wars 2's CG and anime integration, particularly in its opening movie by Production IG, is a key focus. The opening, meticulously crafted, sets the stage for the game's story, foreshadowing events and characters. Key newcomers, Lenny Milchstrasse and Oriheim Soletta, are introduced through visually contrasting scenes, immediately creating anticipation. Lenny is shown as a stoic combat machine, while Oriheim is depicted in a pensive moment, surrounded by rose petals. The game's theatrical elements are also highlighted. The Imperial Combat Review, the in-game theater troupe, shifts from monthly to seasonal performances. While the previous game's The Great Dinosaur Island was successful, the game presents 4 plays, sparking curiosity about their content. Screenshots featuring characters like Iris, Kana, and Sumair on stage showcase these dramatic performances. This page delves into the action-packed opening animation of Sakura Wars 2. It showcases the dynamic combat sequences featuring the core Flower Division members and their spirit armor, Kubu Kai. We see Maria in her Kubu soaring through the air, Kana unleashing her powerful punches, Koran firing a barrage of missiles, and Sumair demonstrating her elegant Naginata skills. The page highlights the impressive aerial combat sequences, noting the seamless integration of CG animation with traditional animation. These scenes provide a powerful visual spectacle and offer glimpses into the battles awaiting players. A key revelation is that Sakura Wars 2 features multiple opening variations. Unlike the previous game, which had 2 different openings across 2 discs, this entry, being on 3 discs, surprisingly offers 3 distinct opening movies. This suggests different themes or character focus depending on the disc, adding replayability and anticipation. The theme song may also see variations across these openings. The page concludes with a dramatic group shot of the main characters and the ominous appearance of an antagonist figure associated with the Black Oni Association, signaling the new threat the Flower Division must confront. This page focuses on the new casual wear for the Flower Division members in Sakura Wars 2. Unlike the first game where outfits remain the same, this entry introduces refreshing summer clothes and different winter designs, reflecting each character's personality. Sakura Shinguji is shown in a pure pink summer dress, with unique woven sandals and her signature red ribbon, and a traditional kimono for winter which perfectly suits her. Lenny Milchstrasse sports a simple pure white e-shirt, emphasizing her boyish nature and practical style suitable for summer. Maria Tachibana's formal summer dress features a striking open neckline and elegant lace gloves, befitting her noble background. Sumameyer Kanzaki showcases a bold and revealing summer dress with a deep neckline and high slit, a design described as unique and perfectly suited for a top star. Kana Kirishima is also shown in her summer attire, engaging in conversation. The designs are described as breathtaking and effectively capturing the individuality of each character, adding visual appeal and anticipating how these new looks will integrate into the game's story. This article showcases the casual wear of the Taikoku Kagekidan members in Sakura Wars 2. Maria Tachibana sports sophisticated black pinstripe suits, with a lighter summer version. Iris Chateaubriand's outfits highlight her youth, featuring a frilly yellow summer dress and a white winter dress, both with her teddy bear. Kana Kirishima's looks maintain her signature red, with relaxed summer attire and a red top and white jacket for winter. Lee Kohran is shown in a consistent red kung fu uniform, designed for both seasons with a built-in airbag for freedom of movement. Screenshots demonstrate these outfits in the game's dialogue scenes. This page continues the look at the Taikoku Kagekidan members in Sakura Wars 2, this time focusing on their unique attack methods. Following up on previous character highlights, this feature details the combat styles of the remaining members. We see information on Maria Tachibana, piloting the Soletta Orihime, who specializes in mid-range energy attacks, effective against multiple foes. Her potent special attack is named Quattro Stagioni, an Italian term meaning 4 seasons, noted for its significantly increased power compared to standard attacks. Next is Sumameyer Kanzaki, wielding her signature Naginata. Her attacks have a slightly longer reach than standard melee, and her powerful special is the elaborate Kanzaki Fujin-style dance of consecutive sparrows. The page also introduces a new gameplay element: cooperative attacks. These occur when allied characters are positioned close together, resulting in a combined attack, described as similar to the critical hits from the previous game. Screenshots illustrate both Maria's Quattro Stagioni and Sumeyer's dance of consecutive sparrows in action, as well as glimpses of the new cooperative attacks. The article suggests players should think strategically about character placement to maximize the effectiveness of these abilities. This page explores the combat abilities of Sakura Wars 2's Taikoku Kagekidan members. Maria Tachibana's special attack, Pika Vyadama, unleashes powerful ranged blasts from her spirit armor, providing effective fire support. Kana Kirishima excels in close combat with her Sanshin Tenshou, a devastating series of palm strikes amplified by her reinforced light armor Kai. The page also highlights the game's production, featuring details about the recording sessions in Tokyo. The cast recorded 14 songs, including the opening and ending themes, with music director Kohei Tanaka expressing satisfaction. The recording sessions included voice actors Yuko Saika and Mahu Okamoto, new to the series, voicing characters Len Millet and Orihime Soletta. A group photo celebrates the completed recording. This page highlights the official fan club for Sakura Wars, the Taisho Roman Club, proudly announcing that membership has surpassed 8,000 people. With the release of Sakura Wars 2 approaching, enthusiasm is high. The article features comments from general producer Uji Hiroi, who discusses the fan club's origins, fueled by fan requests, and expresses his desire to connect more directly with the dedicated fanbase. He talks about the quality of fan submissions like illustrations, and the unique value the official magazine provides, unlike typical game magazines. The page showcases examples of the fan club magazine covers. Membership details and contact information are also included for those interested in joining the growing community. This page delves further into the benefits and activities of the Taisho Roman Club. the official fan club for Sakura Wars. It introduces the dedicated staff who produce the fan club magazine, including the editor-in-chief and deputy editor-in-chief, highlighting their role in creating unique content. Discussions among the development team reveal plans for future magazine articles, such as comparing the various Kubu mechs and providing behind-the-scenes insights not typically found elsewhere. The page also details the exclusive information members receive, including updates on the highly anticipated Sakura Wars 2 and the Sakura Wars musical. A major draw highlighted is the member-exclusive mail-order service, featuring unique merchandise like a special jacket and other goods personally curated by Uji Hiroi himself, emphasizing their high quality. Images on the page show the fan club staff, a meeting discussing future content, examples of the magazine and its exclusive flyers, and the exclusive mail-order items, showcasing the tangible benefits of membership. This page presents a major pre-release feature on Neon Genesis Evangelion, Iron Maiden for the SEGA Saturn. Developed by Gainax, this game is a side story to the original anime, set during the early episodes, focusing on a new character, the mysterious transfer student Mana Kirishima, and a new Eva mystery. The story promises a dramatic experience that leaves a lasting impression. Screenshots showcase various characters from the series, including Shinji, Asuka, Rei, and key nerve staff, in different narrative scenes, alongside glimpses of the new elements the story introduces. The magazine highlights the Saturn version's arrival after the PC release, noting the significant reduction in loading times, a welcome improvement for players. It's an adventure game spread across 2 discs, inviting players to delve into this unique Evangelion narrative and ponder the meaning of its title after reaching the ending. This page continues the look at Neon Genesis Evangelion, Iron Maiden, delving into the story and gameplay. It introduces Mana Kirishima, highlighting her relationship with Shinji, how they get along despite initial awkwardness, and a date event at Lake Ashi that leads to complications. The game promises dynamic interactions, including dialogue snippets like, "Feels like any girl will do," and Mana's greeting to Shinji. The magazine points out key highlights. Part 1 focuses on Asuka's reaction to Mana, a new rival who sparks jealousy in Asuka, especially since she's usually reserved about her feelings for Shinji. Part 2 centers on the date with Mana, where the sequence of locations visited changes the content, including a potential trip to a hot spring. Gameplay advice emphasizes the save first habit during exploration parts, which are the only points where you can save. Although the game usually guides you, many conversations and small events can be missed if you head straight to the objective. Saving often and exploring all accessible areas is recommended to experience everything. The page also provides a map of Nerve headquarters, illustrating the connections between different floors and areas you'll explore, such as the large bath, corridors, elevator halls, and key locations like the Central Operations Command Room and the EVA cages. The Sega Saturn game Neon Genesis Evangelion, Iron Maiden explores growing distrust of Mana Kirishima. As Shinji grows closer to her, her suspicious behavior and presence in restricted areas raise alarms. Asuka suspects Mana may be a spy, forcing Shinji to choose between his feelings and loyalty to Nerve. The game's recommended play advice emphasizes exploration over rushing to objectives, as conversations and events are crucial for understanding the story. Players are advised to save frequently. The page highlights Shinkabukicho as a key location, with a significant event happening in front of the fast food place. The save screen now displays the save location, aiding navigation. This page covers the ongoing story in Neon Genesis Evangelion, Iron Maiden, focusing on the mystery surrounding Mana Kirishima. Following a pilot's disappearance from a hospital, mysterious men appear. Shinji investigates and is attacked by these suspicious figures, prompting questions about their identity and intentions, especially regarding Mana and her friends. The situation becomes tense, leading to an attempt to escape. Shinji and the others are forced to hide, realizing the enemies are hostile despite their small number. Mana is shown as resolute, stating she will confront the situation herself to protect others, but this reckless proposal is rejected. With Misato's help, Shinji and the group manage to escape, but the page teases that their troubles are far from over. The full truth of what happens next is said to be revealed after purchasing the game. A highlight section discusses the experience of playing the game at a game show, mentioning that the demo likely covered up to the end of Disc 1 of the multi-disc release. The reviewer suggests it's a great opportunity to introduce friends who enjoy the Evangelion anime series to the game. This page features a special interview with Ritsuro Hashimoto, the director and scriptwriter behind the SEGA Saturn adventure game Neon Genesis Evangelion, Iron Maiden. Hashimoto discusses the origins of the game, revealing that the concept was in development even before the TV anime series began airing. He touches upon the meaning behind the title, Iron Maiden, suggesting it strongly evokes military and weapon imagery, leaning more towards weapons than power. Hashimoto, known for his work on other adventure titles like Silent Mobius and Nadia, The Secret of Blue Water, shares his approach to creating the game. The page also highlights a particularly memorable scene from the game, with a large illustration of Shinji, alongside Mana Kirishima, a key character introduced in Iron Maiden. The image shows Mana holding a nerve card, hinting at her connection to the world of Evangelion. This page continues the interview regarding the SEGA Saturn title, Neon Genesis Evangelion, Iron Maiden, featuring director Ritsuro Hashimoto and Gainax Kato. The discussion delves into the game's narrative development, confirming care was taken to maintain consistency with the TV anime, though slight discrepancies were inevitable due to its release timing. Hashimoto confirms that the love story element was decided early on, noting that the initial concept was darker, but shifted towards a brighter tone based on producer input. He explains that Mana Kirishima's character originates from a religious concept. Regarding the core characters, Hashimoto expresses that the story primarily focuses on Shinji and Asuka, explicitly stating that Asuka is Shinji's lover in this context. He comments on the visual design, mentioning Asuka's hairstyle was debated between long and short styles, ultimately settling on the current look. Rei Ayanami is described as being within director Hideaki Anno's domain. The interview also touches upon the gameplay style, noting the game relies heavily on dialogue to compensate for the static visuals inherent to the genre, balancing what couldn't be shown graphically with text. Finally, Hashimoto expresses confidence in the quality of the SEGA Saturn version of the game. The page includes an illustration of Asuka in a school uniform and a screenshot from the game, featuring Shinji and Mana. This page dives into the highly anticipated final part of Super Robot Wars F, titled Super Robot Wars F Final. It previews the game's concluding scenario, highlighting that the story is reaching its climax with the introduction of new characters and units. The page proudly declares the game is 95% complete. It confirms the game is a simulation RPG for one player. A section details the game's scenario flow, particularly focusing on episodes 38 and 39. The pathways for both Real and Super Robot series converge towards these pivotal moments. Episode 38 is titled Zabi Family's Demise, and episode 39 is Kingdom of Glass. Further details on episode 38 describe a fierce battle on Axis involving the DC and London Bell forces. Haymarn, the leader of the DSC, receives a report of a gigantic battle fleet approaching Axis. As Londo Bell attempts to identify this shadow, Mashi Marcello leads a mobile suit unit to intercept, initiating the second round of the Axis offensive battle. Screenshots from the prologue show key characters like Amuro Ray and Bright Noah reacting to the ominous pressure and the approaching fleet. The page also introduces several key enemy characters featured in this part of the game. These include Mashimre Cello piloting the Hama Hama, Elya Pasum with the Bawu, Rakan Dakaran piloting the legendary Zaku 2 Is, and Got Otten Go commanding the battleship Endra. Gotten's appearance is noted as potentially providing a financial boost for players struggling for funds. This page continues the intense Super Robot Wars final narrative, plunging deeper into the Axis battle against Heyman. Just as London Bell seems to have Halloman cornered, a massive new threat emerges. The giant carrier dross appears in the Axis airspace. Bright Noma and other characters react with shock to this unexpected display of power. But the surprises don't stop there. The page dramatically reveals the return of the Zabi family brothers. Giran, Kycilia, and Dazzle, characters long thought dead, are back, seemingly allied with the DC forces led by Giran. This shocking development is highlighted as a major plot point, with the epilogue section even suggesting Giran holds the real power within the DC, and the return of the Zabis feels distinctly unnatural. Rounding out the page is a look at Super Robot Wars F Finals showing at the Tokyo Game Show. A representative expresses excitement about bringing the nearly completed game to the event, emphasizing the high level of polish and the fun experience awaiting players. He highlights the final popular VTR screening, the ending sequence, and CG demos, assuring fans that attending will be well worth it, whether they can play the full room or not. It's clear the staff and fans are eagerly anticipating this final chapter. This page continues the deep dive into Super Robot Wars F Final's intricate plot, focusing on Episode 39, Kingdom of Glass. The narrative summary details a dramatic reunion between Dazzlezabi and Minerva, though her reaction to her father's unexpected return is one of distress rather than joy. The plot then shifts to Haemon's meeting with Giran and Kycilia, where Giran reveals his radical plan to discard the colony alliance policy and establish an independent Side 3 nation, clashing sharply with Haemon's ideals. Giran's cynical view of the common populace is also highlighted. Adding to the complexity, the Titans fleet, including key characters, is shown advancing on the peaceful Sank Kingdom. The page emphasizes the mystery surrounding the Zabi brothers' return, questioning if they are truly the figures everyone remembers. This setup is illustrated with dialogue excerpts and a strategic map view of the scenario. Key enemy characters for this episode are also introduced: Jamaican Daningan aboard the Alexandria, and the infamous Yazan Gable alongside his subordinates Dunkel Cooper and Ramsus Hassa, all piloting their formidable Hambrabi mobile suits. This episode promises intense strategic gameplay and significant plot developments centered around the returned Zabis and the encroaching Titans. This page details the immediate crisis following the events on the previous page, as the Titans launch a surprise attack on the peaceful Sank Kingdom. Amidst the strategic plotting, emergency communications reveal the Titans' aggressive move. The infamous Jamaican Daningan leads the assault aboard the Alexandria. Dialogue between characters like Bright Noah and Jamaican highlights the Titans' demand for the colony's surrender, and London Bell's defiant refusal to abandon its mission of protecting civilians. The gameplay sequence shows the intense battle, emphasizing that defeating Jamaican himself is the key objective to repel the Titans' forces in this scenario. The battle visuals capture the scale of the space engagement. Following this decisive battle, the page moves into an epilogue titled Farewell. This section covers significant plot developments, notably the departure of Zex Merquise and Nozain from the London Bell. This crucial decision is made so they can independently protect the Sangrake Kingdom, which is vulnerable due to its pacifist ideals. A stark contrast to the ongoing conflicts. The dialogue among characters like Amuro Ray, Misato Katsuragi, Zex, and Bright reflects the emotional weight of this parting. A brief pilot interview spotlights the ruthless Yazan Gable, giving a glimpse into his aggressive personality and unit capabilities. The page concludes with a teaser for the next installment, promising an introduction to episodes 4041 and the debut of a powerful new unit equipped with formidable map weapons. This page announces the upcoming release of Falcom Classics 2 for the Sega Saturn. Driven by strong user demand, this compilation features two beloved titles: the 1986 adventure game classic Azteca 2, Templo del Sol, known for its innovative icon-based command system, and the highly anticipated sequel and conclusion to YSI-YS2. While the previous compilation, Falcom Classics included 3 games, this title focuses on 2, with significantly expanded content per game. The Saturn version boasts completely new CG visuals and music arrangements tailored for the console. Notably, YS2 includes voice acting for dialogue scenes and features anime sequences for its opening and ending, a treat for fans who played YSI. Details provided list the publisher as Victor Entertainment and Nihon Falcom, with an expected release in November 98 at a price of 5,800 yen. The genre is listed as RPG/ADV, and it is a single-player experience recommended for all ages. Images show character artwork, likely Lilia from YS2, a visual comparison highlighting the graphical improvements from the original PC version to the Saturn release, and key art from Azteca 2. The article notes that while Falcom Classics is offered multiple difficulty modes, Falcom Classics 2 appears to have only one mode, though adventure games naturally don't offer significant difficulty changes. The reviewer expresses anticipation for the included titles and the improvements made for the Saturn. Next week's issue promises a deeper dive into both games and interviews with the developers. This page is a special report on Langrisser V, The End of Legend, announcing it as the final chapter in the long-running tactical RPG series. The striking illustration features a key female character, setting the tone for the game's dramatic conclusion. The article highlights that the saga of the Holy Sword Langrisser and the Demon Sword Alhazard, a conflict spanning ancient times, finally reaches its climax. All the series' mysteries are set to be unveiled in this final installment, promised to be the greatest drama in Langrisser history. A special report box indicates the game is 60% complete and will be showcased at the Tokyo Game Show, where players can experience a highly finished version and witness the series' highest quality firsthand. The publisher, Messiah, is targeting a June 1998 release for this simulation RPG, priced at 6,300 yen. The commentary box humorously suggests that one of the highlights of Messiah's presence might also include their Langrisser cosplay companions. This looks to be a must-play title for fans of the genre and the series. This page continues the in-depth look at Langrisser V, The End of Legend, heralded as the final chapter in the legendary tactical RPG series. The dramatic title, End of a Long Battle, sets the stage for the saga's conclusion. Prominently featured are three key characters who will play vital roles in this climactic story. Sigma, the protagonist, is revealed to be an artificial soldier created by Gizarov, the main antagonist from Langrisser IV. Brenda is introduced as the capable leader of a mercenary unit composed entirely of women. Claret is a young woman who has traveled from Elflead, seeking the legendary sorceress Jessica. The article explains that the game is tightly linked to the events of Langrisser IV, implying that game's ending was a deliberate lead-in to this final narrative. Intriguing keywords like artificial soldiers and basic bodies are scattered throughout the text, hinting at deeper mysteries surrounding the characters and the world's history that will be unveiled. A small screenshot shows an in-game scene, with text reflecting the political situation, hoping for stability amidst the conflict between factions. The article promises a development that will keep players glued to the series' long-standing mysteries. This page provides further details on the diverse cast of characters shaping the final chapter of Langrisser V, The End of Legend. Featured prominently are several key figures driving the narrative. We meet Omega, the protagonist, identified as the third basic body created by the antagonist Gizarov, his past shrouded in mystery. Lambda is introduced as another artificial soldier, significantly enhanced through experiments, possessing vast knowledge but a cold demeanor, and seemingly reporting directly to Gizarov in a screenshot. The mysterious Villig appears, implied to have connections to Brenda, introduced on the previous page, and offering guidance to the protagonist. Alfred, the second son of the Reynolds noble family, is shown on a personal quest to find medicine for his father, highlighting a more personal subplot amidst the larger conflict. Finally, Reinforce, a regional lord also targeting Gizarov's research lab and the basic body, is presented, suggesting complex allegiances and motivations, possibly linked to Lambda. These character introductions, complete with brief descriptions and glimpses of in-game dialogue through screenshots, deepen the intrigue around the plot, particularly concerning the artificial soldiers and the ongoing conflict stemming from the events of Langrisser IV. The page emphasizes that these individuals are central to coloring the final legend. Langrisser V, The End of Legend features significant enhancements to its gameplay and presentation. The judgment phase system, utilizing an action order, is refined, offering strategic choices based on movement and attack costs. Key improvements include faster loading times and quality-of-life features like an in-game help system, and a new shop interface with a shopkeeper. Graphically, the game boasts larger, more detailed unit characters for dynamic battles and high-quality backgrounds and conversation scenes. The strategy maps are visually refined, showcasing varied terrain and strategic depth. Specific map squares enabling free movement add tactical complexity. Langrisser V, The End of Legend emphasizes stunning visuals and deep tactical gameplay. The game boasts gorgeous battle scenes, with highly detailed unit animations and diverse attack variations. A key gameplay element is the return of mixed mercenary types, allowing players to combine two different mercenary units within their own. This expands strategic possibilities, letting players customize units for various scenarios. Beyond battles, the game features beautiful full-size graphics for key events, and a returning anime opening sequence created by the golden combo of Urushihara and Yoshimoto. Screenshots showcase dynamic battle views, character portraits during combat, and the mercenary selection screen, highlighting unit variety. Overall, Langrisser Vs. aims to deliver both a visually impressive and strategically rich experience. This page introduces the intriguing RPG, Linda Cubed, also known as Linda Cubed. Set on a planet facing imminent destruction from an asteroid collision, the game casts players as Linda and Ken, who must gather animals to preserve them on an ark and escape within an 8-year time limit. The core gameplay revolves around hunting and capturing a target number of 8 specific animal types. One of the game's standout features is its 3 distinct scenarios, each offering a different perspective and experience on the same premise. This unique structure makes Linda Cubed a psycho-thriller and hunting RPG unlike any other. The page features a striking illustration of one of the protagonists and a strange creature, along with small screenshots showing the game's top-down map view. It also notes the game is 90% complete, published by ASC2, released on June 18th for 6,800 yen, and includes the game's CD plus a complete soundtrack CD. Linda Cubed is a unique RPG centered around saving species from an asteroid collision. Humanity has fled Earth to Neo Kenya, but faces an 8-year deadline. Players control Ranger Ken and Linda, tasked with collecting animals for a space ark. The Saturn Complete version offers enhanced gameplay, originally on PC Engine and PlayStation. The game features 3 time-synced scenarios, each with the shared objective of capturing target animals. Exploration of Neo Kenya's vast fields, battling and weakening creatures, then capturing them is a core mechanic. Captured animals serve various purposes. The game, blending psycho-thriller elements with hunting RPG gameplay, is visually intriguing. This page delves deeper into Linda Cubed, focusing on the complete version for the Sega Saturn and the design philosophy behind the game. Featuring an interview with game designer and scenario writer Koji Koda. He discusses the transition from the PC Engine version and how the Saturn release allowed for the inclusion of elements closer to his original vision, including unique psycho-thriller aspects and the distinct capture system. The article also introduces the 2 main characters. Linda, described as a free-spirited girl in love with Ken, known for her sharp tongue and vibrant personality, and Ken Challenger, the somewhat plain protagonist often bossed around by Linda, who is part of the Ranger team but notorious for being late. Their dynamic is a key part of the game's narrative. This page focuses on the Sega Saturn version of Linda Cubed, highlighting why it's considered the complete version and detailing the new features that make it more interesting and playable. The article continues the discussion with game designer Koji Koda, delving into the game's design philosophy. He talks about the adult-oriented story, the depth of characters, and the unique nature of the animal capture system. Koda also touches on how console limitations affected the graphics compared to the PC version, but emphasizes the sophisticated AI of the animals in the game world. The Saturn release adds significant new elements. Firstly, it brings back the original dialogue and events from the PC Engine version, which were apparently altered in the PlayStation release. This allows players to fully appreciate Koda's distinctive and somewhat adult world. Secondly, a sound and graphic mode is included, letting players enjoy the game's artwork and music separately, featuring illustrations from the Ranger base and various in-game scenes. Finally, a new Kokubu Master Challenge mode is introduced, where players can test their animal capturing skills in a competitive setting. The page also mentions the inclusion of a complete soundtrack CD and Linda production notes with the game package. Overall, the Saturn version aims to deliver Koda's vision with added content for fans. This page features a special report on Shining Force 2I, Scenario 2, the targeted Shrine Maiden, indicating a 75% completion rate, and its status as an exhibition title at Tokyo Game Show 98 Spring. The core visual is a map showcasing several key locations within the game's world, including Anafek Village, Pearland, and the mysterious sacred land of El Besum. The page provides brief descriptions of these areas. Anafek Village is highlighted as a fishing community first mentioned in Scenario 1, deeply connected to the sea. Pearland is described as the capital that triggered the war, a city with advanced culture like Saraband but now in disarray. El Besum is presented as a sacred place, accessible only once a day, holding significant mystery. Screenshots depict scenes from Pearland, featuring a lighthouse and characters, and the interior of the El Besum temple with a glowing staff. There's also a screenshot with dialogue providing context from Scenario 1, explaining how Pearland's lord, Tierney, leaving to quell a rebellion, led to the Empire's occupation. A section titled, "Highlights Are Here," gives insight into the game's development. It reveals that development is in its final stages, currently a chaotic scene. Developers discuss challenges like insufficient program space for events, and the creative process of expanding the scenario based on movie references and new ideas. while ultimately stating development is progressing smoothly. This page continues the report on Shining Force 2, I Scenario 2. The title suggests venturing into a new world. Featured locations include a desert-like ruin, which the text muses might relate to as Wapia from Scenario 1, and the Jungle Sea, a village inhabited by forest dwarves and elves accessible only through the trees. More detail is given on Pearland, described as a gateway to a sacred land, featuring advanced culture, a distinct aqueduct waterfall, and its recent occupation by the Empire following civil unrest. A key battle scene is highlighted, showing Dechelin, one of the Bolzome 4 generals, freezing Galm, a character returning from Scenario 1. Dechelin is introduced as a new, belligerent enemy, and the text questions Galm's true intentions. The opening movie is also discussed, contrasting its focus on water and naval battles and new mysteries with the previous game's fiery themes, while promising the same high-quality CG to mark the start of the new adventure. This page delves into Dragon Force 2, focusing on the renewed conflict across the Legendia continent and the fate of the descendants of the Star Dragon's 8 swordsmen. Following up from a previous report, this article introduces the nations of Pandaria and the samurai nation of Izumo, highlighting 2 key figures, Shen from Pandaria and Kaede from Izumo. The primary focus here is on Pandaria and Shen, the leader of the Red Forest Party. The story kicks off with Shen leading a rebellion against the tyrannical king of Pandaria, driven by the king's oppressive rule and the plight of the people. Screenshots show the initial confrontation, emphasizing Shen's strength in defeating the royal army and successfully unifying the nation. However, the peace is short-lived, as the page reveals a new threat emerges immediately after unification: the return of demons. A character relationship diagram for Pandaria is presented, detailing Shen's key allies and their connections, including Layla and Lily, Iron, Haupai, Shirorin, and Philibot, illustrating bonds like loyalty and parental love, which are crucial to Shen's cause. The page also includes basic release information for Dragon Force 2, noting its SEGA Saturn platform, April 2nd release date, 5,800 yen price, simulation RPG genre, and recommendation for all ages. The screenshots provide glimpses into the game's story events and character dialogue. This page dives deeper into Dragon Force 2, picking up on the samurai nation of Izumo and its ruler Kaede, who was introduced on the previous page. Her storyline is quite unique compared to the others, focusing on her journey to find a suitable husband. As the next in line, Kaede is pressured to marry but insists on finding someone stronger than herself, specifically setting her sights on Gyungas, the ruler of Basak. We get a look at Kaede's inner circle in Izumo, including her loyal old attendant Kansuke, her battle-hardened friend Kiri, and childhood companions like Fujimaru and Megumi. However, Kaede's path to leadership isn't smooth. Early on, she faces opposition from lords like Kibyu who are unhappy with her succession. Despite being militarily inferior, Kibyu stands against her, leading to a memorable encounter. The page also reveals the impressive voice actor lineup for the game's characters, showcasing the talent bringing the world to life. There's even a short comment from one of the Vaz about their role. Finally, we hear about Dragon Force 2's presence at Tokyo Game Show 98 Spring, where attendees could play a near-final version and get a first-hand look at the new systems and the game's opening movie. It highlights that experiencing it firsthand at the show was a real treat for fans. This page provides a special report on Waku Waku Puyo Puyo Dungeon, an adventure RPG from Compile, noting a 100% completion status, likely related to its exhibition at Tokyo Game Show 98 Spring. The main feature explores the individual reasons for departure of the game's 3 protagonists from the classic Puyo Puyo series: Arle, Skedzo, and Rulyu. We see Arle surprised to find an amusement park has appeared, while Rulyu, known as the Iron Fist young lady, is frustrated by her inability to use magic, and learns about an item that could grant her power if she conquers all the attractions. Skedzo, the Dark Wizard, is also shown, likely seeking power as is his nature. The game is described as an adventure RPG, with dungeon-crawling elements, featuring simple controls and turn-based simulation, where both the player and enemy move one step at a time. The report highlights that while easy to pick up, deeper strategic thinking can lead to more enjoyment. The game is set for release on April 2nd, priced at 5,800 yen, supports 1 player, and is recommended for all ages. The page suggests looking forward to a detailed feature in a future issue. This page continues the look at Puyo Puyo Dungeon, delving deeper into the individual stories of the protagonists and gameplay mechanics. A developer diary notes the game's release is just 2 weeks away and discusses companions, mentioning that while Arle's friend Carbuncle is always with her, Minotauros and Fufufu, companions to Rulyu and Schizo respectively, will leave if their HP drops. For Schizo, the Dark Wizard, his scenario involves finally obtaining the Crystal of Time and Space, only for it to drain his magical power instead. He's then approached by the merchant Fufu. Meanwhile, the easygoing adventurer Arkrol, while out walking with Carbuncle, discovers a strange amusement park and runs into Rulu and Schizo, who are also interested in the park's attractions. It's hinted that Schizo's power loss and Arle's encounter might be linked, with more details found within the game itself. The game world is filled with interactive elements, like magic circles, that can offer various effects when preyed upon, and numerous traps. While traps are harmful, magic circles can be both beneficial and detrimental. Players can also find various items, including rings to boost attack and charms for defense, which add depth to the dungeon crawling experience. This page features an interview with Takafumi Tanida, the development division manager at Compile, discussing Waku Waku Puyo Puyo Dungeon. This is part 1 of a director's perspective interview from their Hiroshima headquarters, celebrating the game's completion. Mr. Tanida reflects on the development process, noting the rapid speed of progress, especially in the final 2 months. He discusses the game's concept, describing the theme park idea as unique compared to previous Madu, Monogatari, and Puyo Puyo titles. He highlights the game's appeal in its flashy magical visuals, and the engaging dungeon system, where maps change each time you enter. Finding various items and traps adds to the fun. Tanida also emphasizes the charm of the characters themselves, noting the effort put into their growth, relationships, and dialogue to make the mysterious Madu Monogatari world and the characters' adventures enjoyable casually. While roguelike RPGs can sometimes be intimidating, the goal was to make this accessible. The page also touches on the origins of the Madu Monogatari series and the Disc Station DS series. It explains that Madu Monogatari characters are central, residing in a strange world depicted in 3D dungeon RPGs like the PC-98 title Madu Monogatari, Ars, shown with a screenshot. The DS series is presented as a platform for numerous experimental games offered at low prices, often featuring Waku Waku Puyo Puyo dungeon staff and including minigames like those seen in previous DS volumes. An image of the Disc Station Volume 18 cover is also shown. This page continues the interview with Compile's development division manager, Takafumi Tanida, discussing the new Waku Waku Puyo Puyo dungeon. He explains that while traditional roguelikes can be daunting, they've lowered the difficulty here, making it accessible. Players save their character levels, allowing for smoother progression. Tanida also clarifies the game's place relative to the main Madu Monogatari series. Despite featuring the same characters, Waku Waku Puyo Puyo Dungeon is set in a parallel world, conceived as a theme park experience distinct from the core Madu Monogatari universe. He mentions the proper Madu Monogatari title for Saturn is planned after this release. The page includes a primer on what a roguelike RPG is, defining it as the origin of dungeon explorers like the Shiren the Wanderer series, highlighting features like randomly generated maps and enemies that move when you do. A screenshot from the Super Famicom version of Shiren the Wanderer is included to illustrate this point. Finally, the interview points out the game's highlight. The playable demo available at the Tokyo Game Show 98 Spring. Tanida encourages everyone to visit the Compile booth to experience the flashy battles, animations, and try out items and magic firsthand before the game's official launch. It's a chance to get a feel for this new take on their characters and world. This page focuses on Multi-Lancer Reinforce, a dramatic simulation game for the SEGA Saturn. It unveils the game's core system, which blends character raising with mission-based gameplay. You play as the protagonist, Randy, a candidate for a new investigator, who partners with senior female investigators on missions throughout the week. Successfully completing missions with your chosen partner enhances their personal parameters and affection towards you, potentially leading to relationship events. Sundays offer a choice of activities. You can go on dates to deepen relationships, engage in training to boost abilities, or rest to recover physical strength, crucial for the next week's missions. The game positions itself as a distinct, raised game, where the protagonist is developed alongside his partners, differing from traditional girl-raising games. It boasts significant graphical and system improvements over previous entries in the series. Screenshots show the mission selection screen with partner details, the tactical battle interface during missions, and the options available for Sunday activities, including dating, training, and resting, each with corresponding character visuals and stat information. The game is a single-player experience released on 3 CD-ROMs, recommended for all ages, and was scheduled for a May 7, 1998 release. This page delves further into Melty Lancer, Reinforce on the SEGA Saturn, focusing on its distinctive gameplay loop. Unlike typical racing simulations, the player character, Randy, is evaluated by the 6 female investigators he partners with throughout the game's 2-year timeline. This evaluation is influenced by performance on missions and rapport, built through choices, with on-screen points reflecting their current opinion. The game features a weekly schedule, including work missions and Sunday activities like training or dates. The combat system is highlighted as a departure from previous entries, utilizing a semi-real-time tactical approach where turn order is determined by CP and actions within a turn use AP, allowing flexible movement and multiple actions. Battles can emerge dynamically during missions. The reviewer emphasizes that the charm of the Melty series is fully present, noting the added features in this reinforced version, including unique events like a tired Sakuya appearing during late-night play sessions, a detail specific to the Saturn version. This page features the romance simulation game, Seifuku, published by Umedia. The striking cover art showcases a girl in a school uniform, fitting the game's title and theme, the season when the end of uniforms approaches, representing the countdown to graduation. This high school simulation focuses on the player's final year, balancing love and studies. While much of the gameplay system remains shrouded in mystery, the report confirms it's a romance simulation recommended for all ages, aiming for a spring 1998 release. Recent reveals include glimpses into school life, after-school events, swimsuit scenes, and the protagonist's room, suggesting a detailed depiction of high school daily life. The game incorporates elements relevant to students at the time, like mobile phones, promising an authentic experience. The feature highlights daily events that occurred during this busy year leading up to graduation. Currently, the game is reported to be 60% complete. Seifuku is a romance simulation game focusing on a high school senior's final year, balancing academics and love. Players manage daily schedules, choosing activities at school, after school, and during holidays. These activities include dating and seasonal events. Encounters with potential love interests happen at various locations, including school, cram school, and part-time jobs. Building stats like academic ability impacts relationships and determines the player's post-graduation path, heavily influenced by exams. The game emphasizes character development and features attractive character designs by Naomi Hayakawa, with related art collections and giveaways highlighting the importance of visuals. Screenshots show gameplay in school and work environments, alongside art viewing modes. This page delves further into the daily life and activities within the romance simulation game, Seifuku. It details how the player navigates their final year of high school, balancing studies, and building relationships through a dynamic schedule. The core of the game revolves around the protagonist's bedroom, shown in a screenshot, where the day's schedule is decided. Here, you check your current stats like physical condition, academics, arts, information, sports, appearance, stress, and your wallet balance. The game's initial parameters, as highlighted by a character portrait, are influenced by a personality test, making each playthrough slightly unique. School isn't just for studying, it's a crucial place for encounters and events. The page showcases examples like a school event where a character, Yuka, brings a handmade bento to the rooftop, suggesting key character interactions occur during breaks. After-school hours are equally important, offering freedom for part-time jobs or cram school, but also the potential for spontaneous events. These after-school hours include mobile phone events, demonstrated by a screenshot of the in-game phone displaying the date and time, where characters like Mizuki Endo might call, potentially leading to dates. Meeting characters right after school is another common event, as shown by a scene at the school gate with a character, suggesting spontaneous invites to walk home together are a regular occurrence. The game emphasizes that while scheduling is key, unexpected events keep the gameplay engaging. This page continues exploring the daily rhythm of Seifuku, focusing on the crucial after-school hours. It highlights the freedom players have to choose where to go, whether it's furthering your education at cram school to boost academic stats, taking a part-time job to earn essential funds for dating, or simply heading out on a date to deepen relationships. The game emphasizes that balancing these activities is key, with part-time jobs even offering chances to meet new characters like college students. A helpful UI feature is explained. The color of the dialogue window changes, acting as a visual indicator of how well your responses are being received by the character you're talking to. Think of it as a mood meter, ranging from positive, pink, red, to negative, blue. The page also touches on physical well-being with the gym activity, allowing you to train and increase your exercise stat, hinted to be important for future career paths. And for those looking for a deeper connection, the game teases the ability to eventually see characters outside their school uniforms. Finally, a key mechanic, biorhythm, is introduced, affecting the success rate of actions based on your chosen birthday, adding a layer of strategic planning to your daily commands. This page reviews the SEGA Ages Phantasy Star Collection for SEGA Saturn. It highlights special editions made for the Saturn release, broken down into two sections. The gallery mode features a movie section with TV commercials, and an illustration section containing artwork and development materials. The Saturn version additional elements section details game-specific improvements. Phantasy Star I gains hiragana messages for mixed hiragana display. Phantasy Star 2 and 2 I have FM sound support, bringing FM sound from the original Mega Drive version, and an adjustable movement speed increase. Phantasy Star 2 I also includes a save point increase, doubling save points for easier progress tracking. The collection aims to provide enhancements and bonus content for fans of the classic RPG series. This page reviews the first two Phantasy Star games, included in the SEGA Ages collection for the SEGA Saturn. The original Phantasy Star, 1987, for the SEGA Mark II I, is praised for its science fiction setting, 3D dungeons, and dynamic battles. The story follows Elisa's quest for revenge, joined by Mayao and Odin, to save the Algol star system. Phantasy Star 2, 1989, for the Mega Drive, is described as a significant upgrade, featuring an expanded party, a more dramatic story centered around Rolf and his team, investigating a biomonster outbreak on Motavia, managed by Mother Brain, 1,000 years after the original game. The game boasts improved visuals, larger sprites, and a transition to top-down 2D dungeons. Both games showcase innovative features and memorable characters within the series. This page continues the exploration of the Phantasy Star saga, focusing on Phantasy Star 2-1, Generations of Doom, and Phantasy Star IV, The End of the Millennium. Phantasy Star 2I, released on the Genesis, is presented as a side story known for its groundbreaking marriage system, allowing players choices to shape the narrative across 3 generations and leading to multiple endings with its cast of 15 characters. Screenshots illustrate the party setup and character stats within this unique system, highlighting its departure from previous entries. Phantasy Star IV is introduced as the grand conclusion to the series, released in '93, presumably for the Genesis. It features significantly improved graphics and gameplay compared to its predecessors, with larger sprites, clearer text, and enhanced battle commands. Set 1,000 years after Phantasy Star 2, the story follows hunters like Chaz and Alice in a world recovering from a devastating ecological collapse, drawn into a conspiracy involving the sorcerer Geo. The page showcases the game's impressive visual scenes that dramatically enhance the storytelling. Further sections detail the battle system, including front and back rows, highlight some of the series' distinct monster designs like the Rappy, emphasize the prevalence of visual scenes that punctuate the narrative, discuss side events that offer optional quests, and touch upon advanced battle mechanics like macros and combination attacks. The page also teases an interview with the staff in an upcoming issue. This page announces the terrifying arrival of the House of the Dead to SEGA Saturn. The striking central image is a dramatic illustration of a lone figure fending off a swarm of horrifying creatures bursting from a doorway, capturing the intense action of a gun-shooting game. The game is described as a horror experience filled with screams and chills, where players are thrust into panic by unexpected terrors within a desolate mansion, all stemming from the deranged research of Dr. Kurian. The page also features small screenshots showing the monstrous enemies players will face. Adding to the SEGA Saturn's distinctive character, the legendary Sagata Sanshiro makes an appearance, alongside a brief mention of his theme song CD. There are also short notes regarding a SEGA Partners membership campaign and a SEGA Saturn event held in Tokyo. This page continues the coverage of especially titles featured at the Tokyo Game Show 98 Spring, focusing heavily on the strategic simulation game Mobile Suit Gundam, Giran's Greed. The page prominently displays the game's title, and features a dramatic image related to the One-Year War conflict. The game allows players to experience the One-Year War from the perspective of either the Earth Federation or the Principality of Zeon. It's highlighted as a strategy simulation title, published by Bandai, with ESP's cooperation, scheduled for release on April 9 for 6,800 yen, and supporting one player. A demo version was available for attendees to try at the Bandai booth during the show. The page includes an interview with director Norihiko Ushimura and producer Kusaku Kawamoto, discussing the game's development and highlights. They emphasize the importance of the game's animations, particularly the opening sequence, which depicts scenes never before animated, and the character dialogue, noting that many lines have been newly recorded. A significant challenge discussed was balancing the game to appeal to both dedicated Gundam fans and simulation game enthusiasts, adjusting elements like unit production limits and development timelines to ensure a rewarding experience for both groups. The interview also touches on the visual connection between the character windows and the game's animation sequences. This page delves further into Mobile Suit Gundam. Giran's Greed coverage from the Tokyo Game Show, specifically exploring the backstory of the Principality of Zeon. It presents a historical overview, detailing the discrimination faced by Spacenoids from the Earth Federation, and the philosophical roots of Zeon's independence movement, led by Zeon Daikun. The page highlights how the Republic of Zeon was founded in Side 3, and later declared independence, eventually evolving into a military nation under Degwin Zabi, leading to the outbreak of the One-Year War. The interview with director Norihiko Ushimura and producer Kusaku Kawamoto continues, discussing the game's development challenges. They emphasize the intricate process of balancing unit strengths, ensuring mobile suits like the Gundam, or ace pilots, such as Amuro Ray and Char Azenable, feel powerful without completely dominating the simulation. The developers aim to blend character-driven elements with strategic gameplay. The interview also touches upon how the game intends to convey the anti-war themes present in the original Gundam series, offering players a unique perspective by allowing them to play from the Zeon side. This page continues the deep dive into Mobile Suit Gundam, Giran's Greed, focusing on the Principality of Zeon's key assets. The upper section highlights the key persons, presenting the elite warriors who became the hope of the Spacenoids. This includes legendary ace pilots like Char Aznable, the fearsome Black Tri-Stars, Gaia, Ortega, and Mash, and prominent members of the Zabi family such as Giran and Dazzle. The text emphasizes how these skilled individuals are crucial to Zeon's strategy, relying on quality and tactical deployment to overcome the Earth Federation's numerical superiority. Character portraits of Char, both masked and unmasked, Rambaral, Gaia, Giran, and Dazzle are featured, alongside a screenshot of a Zagok. The lower section shifts focus to Zeon's mobile suits under the title, "Their Technology Overturns the Difference in National Strength." It details the impressive evolution of Zeon's mobile suit development, starting with the foundational Zaku, designed primarily for space combat. The diagram and accompanying text showcase how Zeon rapidly adapted, developing variants for terrestrial use, like the Zaku 2J type, amphibious combat, Agay, Zagok, Zogok, and even specialized units like the Zaku tank and Desert Zaku. This technological adaptability and continuous innovation in creating GREMs tailored for diverse environments is presented as a key factor, allowing Zeon to challenge the Federation's greater industrial might and national strength. Various screenshots of mobile suit battles and the detailed lineage diagram illustrate the breadth of Zeon's mobile suit arsenal in the game. This page explores Zeon forces in Mobile Suit Gundam, Giran's Greed, focusing on key figures and mobile suits. Ramba Ral, a pivotal character, is highlighted for his impact on the original Gundam story and the strategic importance of managing his team in the game. The page also introduces characters like Bernardo Wiseman and Nimbus Stertzen, expanding the narrative's depth. Furthermore, the text details the evolution of Zeon mobile suits, showcasing their development from the Goof and Gyan to the Dom family and beyond, including the Gelgoog and Kampfer. The evolution of these units allowed Zeon forces to adapt to the Earth Federation's strategies. Finally, it mentions the development and importance of superweapons, or mobile armors, like the Big Zam and Elmeth, vital for Zeon's success in the war's later stages. This page continues the strategic overview of the Zeon forces in Mobile Suit Gundam, Giran's Greed, focusing on their early war efforts and expansion onto Earth. Following their decisive victory in space, Xeon sought to impose the Antarctic Treaty on the Earth Federation, a move depicted with key figures from both sides present. However, this attempt to quickly end the war failed, due to the recovery of General Revel, who rallied the Federation forces. With a quick victory elusive, Xeon launched the large-scale Earth drop operation, primarily to secure vital resources needed for a prolonged conflict. The page highlights how this operation unfolded rapidly, aided by the versatile Zaku mobile suit. Furthermore, it emphasizes Xeon's remarkable adaptability, quickly developing and deploying mobile suits and tactics for unfamiliar ground and water combat environments. This included the development of units like the Zagok. Kishiria Zabi's foresight in prioritizing naval development is noted as a key factor in enhancing Xeon's combat power on Earth. The screenshots illustrate various aspects of the ground and naval battles within the game. The next page delves further into the Xeon strategy within Mobile Suit Gundam. Girin's Greed, focusing on critical junctures on Earth. It details the Earth Federation's counteroffensive against Xeon's resource-rich Odessa base, highlighting the defense strategy orchestrated by McQuave. Despite Xeon establishing robust defensive lines, the Federation's overwhelming numbers pose a significant challenge. A crucial decision point is presented. Should McQuave unleash his secret weapon, a nuclear missile, potentially violating the Antarctic Treaty and causing immense destruction, even to friendly forces? The text discusses the differing opinions of Dazo Zabi, who seeks McQuave's execution for his rashness, and Kishiria Zabi, who values the strategic impact, requiring the player to choose who to side with. The page then introduces another major development, the emergence of the True Xeon faction. Led by Kishiria Zabi, this faction forms in Granada, declaring war on Gihren Zabi. Kishiria believes Gihren has lost sight of Xeon's original ideals, becoming a tyrant who manipulates the people and militarizes the state for personal gain. Images show Kishiria confronting Gihren, represented by a portrait, along with portraits of McQuave and potentially Dazzle, illustrating these key strategic and political turning points in the game's Xeon storyline. The screenshots depict portraits of these key characters, and a group of Xeon officers aligned with Kishiria, emphasizing the internal conflict brewing within the Principality. This page is all about the highly anticipated sequel, Slayers Royal 2, for the Sega Saturn. The official title is now decided, and the article confirms that the beloved mage duo is back. The development is being led by Onion Egg, in collaboration with the original author, aiming for high-quality visuals and an improved system. They've introduced significant enhancements, including altitude differences, and a concept of time that progresses through day, dusk, and night, affecting the environments. Maps are fully polygonal and rotatable, allowing characters to interact with the surroundings, like climbing trees or destroying objects with magic. Fan-favorite characters like Naga the Serpent are featured, with promises of increased screen time and even more chaotic AI actions. The story continues directly from the previous Slayers Royal, expanding on a side story set between the first two parts of the original novels. The game will also include anime cutscenes produced by the staff behind the theatrical films. Basic game details confirm it's an RPG, planned for a 1998 release, and is a single-player experience. One developer highlights the battle system as the key draw, describing the game as a Slayer's miniature garden that fans will surely enjoy exploring. Grandia Digital Museum, launching May 28 for 3,800 yen, is a must-have for Grandia fans. Developed by Game Arts / Especially, it offers a deep dive into the game's development, featuring setting materials, character portraits, and monster data. Beyond a simple database, players explore new dungeons to find items, unlocking more museum content. Save points before key scenes and recorded radio dramas are also included. The project, driven by fan demand, incorporates dungeon exploration using the original battle system, plus mini-games like Goblin's Pot Chop. The museum will be showcased at the Tokyo Game Show, 98 Spring. Especially promises personality-packed minigames and encourages fans to visit their booth for exclusive merchandise. This page features Lunar 2, Eternal Blue, a highly anticipated RPG from Kadokawa, Shooten, and Especially, set to release this summer on 2 CD-ROMs for an estimated 7,800 yen. It's making a grand appearance at the Tokyo Game Show. Returning as a complete remake, Lunar 2 boasts impressive anime cutscenes that rival OVA quality. Building upon the already excellent scenario and game balance of the original Sega CD version, this Saturn release significantly improves the graphics and adds over an hour of previously untold story segments, making it a must-see for fans and newcomers alike. The field maps have also received a complete overhaul. While town and dungeon layouts remain consistent, The visuals are entirely redrawn, creating a greater sense of depth and perspective. The color palette is richer, adding a visceral appeal. Movement on the field map, which could be sluggish on the Sega CD, is now smooth. Encounters use the symbol encounter system, similar to the Saturn's Lunar one, eliminating random battles on the map, and battle loading times are notably faster. Highlights mentioned include the superb animation quality and the game's rich story and scenario, described as crafted with immense dedication by talented writers, capable of bringing tears to your eyes. Yusuke Nishiyama from Kadokawa Shoten emphasizes that the game's magic lies not just in visuals, but also in its unforgettable music and deep storytelling, making it a truly powerful experience. Lunar 2. Eternal Blue centers on Hiro, a frontier boy, and Lucia, a mysterious girl from the Blue Star. Hiro, cheerful and adventurous, encounters Lucia, whose enigmatic nature sparks a life-altering adventure. The story unfolds as Hiro, his grandfather Galeon, and Rubina discover Lucia near a blue tower. The game is an RPG with a human drama aspect, exploring Lucia's emotional journey. The Saturn version, developed by Takeshi Kinoshita and Toshihiko Akashi, adapts the Mega CD version with new episodes, improved visuals, voice acting, and a revamped battle system. The team promises a more engaging experience than the previous iteration, addressing loading time issues. Lunar. Eternal Blue Complete features Hiro's companions, each with unique backstories. Key party members include Jean, a quick-witted dancer, Ronfar, a carefree priest, Lemina, the money-obsessed head of the Magic Guild, and Ruby, a dragon child devoted to Hiro. The Saturn version expands on character development. The game boasts upgraded magic effects, customized to each character, with impressive scaling and zooming. Director Kinoshita and Akashi note the unchanged character designs but highlight significant improvements in animation, especially for the climax. Their goal was to create a genuine RPG experience, focusing on realistic character portrayals and immersive town atmospheres, aiming to resonate with players emotionally. Screenshots showcase the enhanced battle system. Gungrafon 2, a battlefield simulator developed by GameArts and published by Especially, was slated for release on April 23rd, with a standard and a versus cable version. This complete version features intense 3D shooting battles with the Hymax 2 mech. The game supports versus cable, twin stick, and mission stick controllers. The game features scenario mode with easier first missions and versus battle mode for two-player battles with random map selection. The Staby button function has been updated for strategic options. Attendees at the Tokyo Game Show can experience the finished game, including a real-time, in-game polygon opening demo. The game's story involves a global conflict originating in North Africa. The show will offer playable demos of both scenario and versus battle modes, with tournaments and prizes available. Merchandise, including limited edition caps, will also be sold. This page features the upcoming race and adventure game, code AAR, developed by Quintet. The article presents an interview with the developers to reveal more about the game's appeal, moving beyond the previously shared snippets of information. Code AR blends a dramatic story with racing gameplay. The developer emphasizes that this isn't just an adventure game with occasional races tacked on. The story and races are deeply intertwined. Winning races is crucial for advancing the narrative and getting closer to understanding the protagonist's past and motivations. The game explores why the main character begins racing, hinting at opposition from his father and a connection to past events. Screenshots showcase character illustrations and tense racing scenes. According to the developer, success in the game's races is akin to gaining experience points in an RPG, allowing the player to challenge rivals who were initially out of reach. The goal is to climb the ranks and become a major player in the racing world, which in turn unlocks the secrets of the protagonist's closed-off past. Code R emphasizes time management and character interaction within its racing gameplay. A dynamic day/night cycle dictates character availability, requiring players to strategize their schedule for races, skill improvement, and relationship building. The narrative unfolds over time through interactions with rivals and romantic interests, all linked to the protagonist's mysterious past and the legend of King. The developers highlight the game's dramatic focus, aiming for a moving story experience. At the Tokyo Game Show 98 Spring, the developers showcased adventure, racing, and combined gameplay demos, with an emphasis on high-resolution graphics and time attack events. This page features Radiant Silvergun, an incredibly hyped shooting game from developer Treasure, making a special appearance at the game show. Known for pushing the boundaries of the genre, Treasure is bringing this arcade title, running on the STV board, to the public eye with immense anticipation. Scheduled for arcade operation in spring, it features intense bullet patterns and supports two-player simultaneous play, evident in the multiple screenshots showcasing the game's challenging visuals and detailed mech designs. The article questions if this title will break new ground in the shooting game world, acknowledging the genre's reputation for being inaccessible to beginners due to difficulty, yet suggesting Radiant Silvergun offers something more profound than just high challenge. Players are encouraged to experience its unique qualities firsthand at the game show or arcade. This page delves deeper into Radiant Silvergun, the highly anticipated shooting game from Treasure featured on the previous page. It lays out the fascinating backstory, starting in the year 2520 AD, with the discovery of a mysterious object and robinoids from ancient times. This leads to a catastrophic event, where an unknown flying object appears and causes human extinction. The story then follows the last remaining survivors, the crew of the exploration ship Tetra, who utilized the prototype Silvergun ship to launch a counterattack a year later. The page introduces the key characters: Buster, a cynical youth who pilots the blue ship, 1P; Rihanna, the intellectual female pilot of the red ship, 2P, notable for her specially designed rather unique seat; Guy, another hot-blooded pilot; Commander Igarashi, the Federation commander whose fate is intertwined with humanity's fall; Tengai, the ship's stubborn mechanic; and Creator, a current model robinoid who assists the crew. It also provides design data for the Silvergun ship itself. Highlighting its distinctive form, the cockpit is shown to be compact, designed for a single person, and filled with instrumentation. The control scheme is particularly interesting, consolidating operation into just a stick and 3 triggers for switching between attack modes on the fly. The inclusion of Rihanna's custom seat adds a touch of quirky personality to the design details. It's clear Treasure is aiming for more than just intense shooting with this title, building a universe and giving the player ship and characters a rich context. This page continues the deep dive into Treasure's highly anticipated shooting game, Radiant Silvergun, analyzing its design choices and appeal. It highlights the unusual decision to use a horizontal screen with vertical scrolling, a combination the article points out is tricky to balance and not commonly seen in the genre compared to horizontal or vertical screen layouts. A major focus is placed on the game's unique weapon system, featuring 7 different shot types accessible via combinations of the 3 main buttons. This fluid switching system, along with the powerful hypersword attack, is presented as a clever evolution of Treasure's design philosophies seen in games like Light Crusaders. The article also includes insights from Treasure's representative director, who explains their decision to enter the arcade scene with a SHMUP, despite the genre's declining popularity, citing the passion of their internal development staff. He emphasizes their approach of using polygon-based 3D visuals for presentation, while firmly rooting the gameplay in a 2D style, noting the version shown at the Tokyo Game Show in 1998 had received significant upgrades in weapons and balance. The screenshots scattered throughout the page showcase the game's intense action and distinctive visual style. This page delves deeper into the design of Radiant Silvergun, highlighting how terrain is a critical element, not just background. It points out that unlike many shmups where terrain is merely an obstacle to avoid, in Radiant Silvergun, colliding with it can destroy your ship, making it a constant threat. The article compares this severity to classic titles like Salamander and Musha Aleste, where terrain itself could function as an enemy. The discussion then shifts to the game's unique scoring system. There are no traditional power-ups. Instead, your shot level increases as you earn points. Points are primarily gained through destroying boss parts, which offer bonuses based on destruction rate, and by defeating regular enemies. A key mechanic involves chaining kills of ground-based enemies sorted by color, with destroying 3 or more of the same color consecutively yielding a bonus. Finally, the article expresses respect for the pioneers of the shooting genre, noting visible influences from past titles, particularly Ireme's Ficutype series, in the design of the enemy bosses. Brief summaries are provided for various games cited throughout the article, including Terradiver, Raystorm, Light Crusader, Salamander, Musha Aleste, Dodonpachi, and VAR-type, showcasing their relevance as comparisons or inspirations. This page details the sophisticated 3-button, 7-shot weapon system found in Radiant Silvergun, The article notes that the graphics and characteristics of the shots have seen significant changes since earlier versions, suggesting the game is nearing completion. The core of the system lies in combining the A, B, and C buttons to access different weapon types. When the gauge, which fills by destroying bullets with the sword, reaches maximum, pressing A plus B plus C unleashes the powerful Radiant Sword, granting temporary invincibility and high attack power. In normal operation, the A button fires the Vulcan laser, a straight-shooting, high-rate off-fire weapon effective for piercing enemies. The B button activates homing shots, which track enemies from the sides, ideal for clearing out groups of weaker foes. The SIAC button deploys spread shots, slow but powerful blasts that cover a wide area and can even form a temporary shield around the ship. Combining buttons unlocks further options. A plus B fires the homing plasma, converging beams that increase in power when focused on a single target. A plus C triggers the wide shot, aimed upwards and forwards, useful for dealing with threats from above. Finally, B plus C activates the round shot, which automatically targets enemies within a circular range around the ship, best suited for nearby single targets or bosses. This layered system offers players a versatile arsenal to tackle diverse enemy formations and challenges. This page features a hands-on test play report of the in-development shooter, Radiant Silvergun, from two writers. Sasaki Isaraichi discusses getting a feel for the game up to Stage 2, noting the dense bullet patterns that feel uniquely treasured. He highlights the distinct gameplay change based on whether you focus on defeating bosses quickly or trying to score points off them, asking if this makes it a game primarily for expert players. His preference leans towards intense shooters like Rayforce, noting how the lack of bombs creates high tension, and similar feelings found in games like Darius Gaiden and the Saturn version of Game Tengoku's Score Attack. Manami Ray expresses complete infatuation with the game's refined ideas and gameplay. He emphasizes that the boss battles are the core focus, featuring innovative attack methods, and notes how hiding behind environmental obstacles is a valid tactic, as shown in one screenshot. The item system and power-ups are praised, and the game allows players to influence difficulty through scoring and progression, encouraging replayability. Like Sasaki, he prefers games that evoke passion and intense tension, citing the Thunder Force series, Image Fight, Ikaruga, and Zero Gunner as examples, valuing overall package completion over just graphics or sound. The screenshots illustrate the frantic bullet dodging required and a dramatic boss encounter, reinforcing the writer's descriptions of intense gameplay. This page showcases the simulation game, The Convenience Store 2. The artwork features a brightly colored scene of a convenience store, with a crowd of beckoning cats, Manakineko, gathered in front, emphasizing the theme of bringing in customers and wealth. The large title, Convenience 2, dominates the upper part of the image, along with the subtitle, National Chain Expansion, in Japanese. The game is described as a simulation, where the player aims for national dominance by managing their own convenience store chain. Compared to the previous installment, the graphics quality has significantly improved, event variations have increased, and the game speed is faster. New features mentioned include the ability to rename stores and set sample marks. The page includes screenshots showing the game's map view and interior management interface, illustrating the detailed simulation aspects. It is priced at 5,800 yen, excluding tax, is a SEGA Saturn Kydrom title, T4,317 grams, supports one player, and requires a power memory cartridge. It's noted as being on sale and well received. The overall impression is that this sequel significantly expands upon the original, with numerous enhancements aimed at providing a deeper and more engaging convenience store management experience. This page dives deep into the world of Grandia, promoting the official guidebooks for this epic RPG on the SEGA Saturn. The page features the striking Grandia logo and title, alongside several screenshots showcasing the game's vibrant visuals, including encounters with monsters, exploring detailed environments, and navigating the skies in the distinctive airship. The main focus is the Grandia Official Guidebook Completion Edition, which promises to reveal all the mysteries. This guide is essential for players progressing through the latter half of the story, specifically Disc 2, offering comprehensive strategies with detailed maps, particularly focusing on the crucial location Ailent. It also includes complete data for all items and monsters encountered in the game, plus details on 3 special stages. Furthermore, the page highlights the original Grandia official guidebook, noting its immense popularity with over 200,000 copies sold. This first guide covers the initial part of the adventure on Disc 1, provides introductions to the characters, explains the intricate battle system, and includes a handy Grandia glossary. Both guides are listed at the same price of 950 yen, making them accessible resources for any player looking to master Grandia. This clearly demonstrates the game's popularity and the demand for detailed guides to fully explore its vast world and challenging gameplay. This page features an announcement for Hiroi Uji's first photo essay, Born. The book, titled Dreams of Uji Hiroi, Vietnam, Nippon, is presented as a new work by Hiroi Uji, known for creating hit titles like Tengai Makyo and Sakura Wars. The central image shows Uji himself holding a camera, accompanied by smaller photos that appear to be from his travels, including scenes from Vietnam, like a person on a boat, and market life, contrasted with perhaps scenes from Japan. The text explains that Uji traveled to Vietnam, described as a very energetic country, taking candid photos of daily life. These photos are woven together with essays that link them to his own childhood in downtown Tokyo during the Showa 30s era. The book is presented as a glimpse into the source of Hiroi Uji's inspiration. The photo essay is announced as being now on sale, providing details about the book's specifications, B5 size, 136 pages, and priced at 1,800 yen. It is published by SoftBank Corporation Publishing Division. Information is included on how to purchase the book from bookstores or directly. This page highlights a creative project outside of game development by a prominent figure in the Japanese gaming industry. This page is the Reader Submission Corner, titled, Let's Party! Aim for Submission King! Quote. It features various letters, jokes, and illustrations sent in by readers. There are numerous short entries from fans, covering random thoughts, experiences, and jokes. Several reader-submitted illustrations and comics are also featured. One prominent illustration is related to Black/Matrix, featuring a character and the game's title. Another illustration appears to be fan art related to the game To Heart. There is also a reader-submitted comic titled Infinite Comic Critical Moment, which includes a segment called Chapter 6, Benjamin Dies? And depicts a character getting hit by a truck, suggesting it's a fan interpretation or parody related to a game or series. The page captures the interactive spirit of the magazine, showcasing the creativity and humor of the readership. This page is the Saturn Users Square, a lively reader corner where fans share their opinions and creativity. The main section features user feedback on the state of the Saturn as it approaches its 4th year and the prospect of a new console generation, likely referencing the upcoming Dreamcast. Readers discuss the balance between 2D and 3D game development, the importance of software developer input in hardware design, and desired features like reliable backup memory and sufficient RAM. There's a general sentiment that focus should remain on creating fun games regardless of graphical style, and that the transition to 3Ds, as seen with PlayStation, poses challenges for some developers. The rumor? True? Section presents various reader-submitted rumors about games, including talk of illustrations for a series, hidden content in games like Symphony of the Night and The City, and details about a game in the Tsukuro series. Another section, Friends of the Heart, includes a reader's reflection on the challenging experience of playing Big Adventure, St. Elmo's Trail, noting its difficulty and the satisfaction of exploring its world. Finally, the Manga Corridor showcases reader-submitted comics, featuring various styles and themes from gag strips to a unique submission, posing a physics problem related to mechanics and graphing motion. The page provides a great snapshot of the Sega Saturn community's thoughts and humor during this period. This page is dedicated to reader interaction, featuring several community-focused sections. The Teach Me Show section acts as a Q&A, where the resident expert answers a variety of reader questions, ranging from general curiosities to specific game-related queries, such as the power level of Terriman, or details about the Goddess series, providing witty and sometimes surprising answers. The New Corner Establishment Committee reports on the results of a reader poll for a segment called Pulling Down Your Favorite, revealing that a surprising majority of readers who participated preferred cats over dogs, cat-eared girls, or other options in the initial round. The This Week's Submission King section introduces a new system to honor frequent and high-quality contributors, establishing a hall of fame for those who accumulate enough points, earning them special recognition and potential rewards. The page lists some of the current top point earners. Adding visual flair, several illustrations from a reader named Go from Fukuoka Prefecture are featured. These drawings include characters resembling Nakoruru from the Samurai Showdown series and Hisienko from the Darkstalkers series, showcasing the artistic talent within the community and adding a personal touch to the page. The ink screen section further includes various reader comments and thoughts, contributing to the vibrant community atmosphere. This page is dedicated to reader contributions, showcasing a vibrant community around SEGA Saturn. The main feature is the Part Gallery, displaying fan art from various prefectures across Japan. We see illustrations featuring characters that look like they could be from Panzer Dragoon, Grandia, Dragon Master Silk, and Resident Evil. Staff comments accompany each piece, offering feedback like praising a Panzer Dragoon dragon, noting the cute character in what appears to be a Princess Crown illustration, and commenting on the Resident Evil characters and their weaponry. There's a request for more horizontal illustrations. The theme for the next submission round is announced as Burning Rangers. This week's best contribution is highlighted, coming from Niigata Prefecture. Further details are provided in the information section, outlining the rules for submitting artwork and text, emphasizing black ink on white paper, and the current lack of acceptance for color illustrations. Crucially, the points system for contributors is explained. Getting published earns a point, with more points awarded for excellent work. Owned. Accumulating points can lead to rewards like book coupons or even Saturn game software. The page concludes with the address for sending in submissions via postcard. This page features an advertisement for the first volume of the Satamaga MOOC series, a strategy guide for the SEGA Saturn fighting game, Cyberbots: Full Metal Madness. The page prominently displays the game's logo and showcases several impressive mechs from the game, including the iconic Bladia. This ultimate strategy guide is packed with comprehensive data and covers everything you need to know for both player versus player and player versus CPU battles, highlighting amazing combo explanations. It boasts exclusive content like newly drawn illustrations and treasured hidden development materials provided by the Capcom staff themselves, making it a must-see for fans. Published by the SEGA Saturn Magazine editorial department, this, a 5-sized MOOC, contains 160 pages and has a list price of 1,500 yen, and is currently well received and on sale. The bottom section provides contact information for the publisher, SoftBank. This page presents content across various sections. Tomo Sakurai discusses her acting work, specifically a 3-act play, Shonen Boy, where she portrays a character from a shoujo manga. A profile lists her birth date, birthplace, blood type, and debut as a singer. Another section details a relaxing 3-night, 4-day trip to Ito and Atami, featuring hot springs, meals, a plum garden, and a visit to a shrine with a significant tree. An information section provides details on Sakurai's play. Lastly, a comic by Izumi Takemoto covers the Tokyo Game Show, focusing on game-related merchandise and discussing game releases and ports, particularly Yumimi Mix and Working Love. He reflects on bonus items and notes that some games became killer software for their respective platforms, and speculates if Working Love will be the last game for PCFX. This page features a satirical manga strip titled Saturn Ningen by Hanakuma Yusaku, published in SEGA Saturn Magazine as the 16th installment of a series humorously tackling modern Japanese social problems from a journalistic perspective, though the title itself labels it a lie. The comic depicts a common point of conflict: a child playing video games late into the night. In the strip, parents attempt to get their child to stop playing and go to sleep, emphasizing the importance of family time. The situation escalates absurdly, showing the parents attacking the child with a baseball bat and knife, highlighting the intensity of the dispute. Other panels show exaggerated reactions, represented by spiky lines and sound effects like "bam" and "doba," and a commentator asking if this is the kind of game children play today, and demanding the issue be addressed. The page concludes with a multiple-choice question asking what the biggest problem is. 1. Children playing games until late at night. 2. Parents doing it, even at a good age, likely referring to their own problematic behavior or indulgence, perhaps mirroring the child's. 3. Japan's cramped housing situation. The provided answer is 3. Suggesting the core issue isn't necessarily the gaming itself or the specific behavior of the people involved, but the environmental stressor of living in close quarters, which exacerbates the conflict. A classic satirical punchline. The bottom includes a brief profile of the author, Hanakuma Yusaku, mentioning his birthplace, birth year, and some of his published works. This page features the 11th installment of the Game Science Laboratory column, written by Sub and Saiga, with illustration by Akiyama. Presented as a dialogue between a professor and his assistant, this article delves into the design principles behind RPG command screens. The discussion covers three key aspects: the clear display of necessary information, the ease with which players can understand what they can do and how to do it, and the overall efficiency of operation, aiming to reduce unnecessary steps or button presses. They note that how a designer prioritizes these elements contributes to their individual style. The professor highlights Final Fantasy V2 for its strong visual focus, contrasting it with Dragon Quest, which is praised for its efficient interface. Another point of analysis is the flow of gaze, suggesting that UI layout should consider the natural tendency for people to read or scan from left to right, similar to watching a 100 meters race on television. The page also includes a small section requesting letters from readers, asking for their opinions, feedback, and suggestions for future topics for the Game Science Laboratory column. The illustration depicts the professor and assistant beside a computer terminal displaying the column's logo, alongside a fantastical creature and an airship. This page is a mail-order catalog from a store called Santa, specializing in SEGA Saturn products. It presents a comprehensive price list for SEGA Saturn software, including new releases and a large selection of older titles. The list also includes various SEGA Saturn peripherals and hardware accessories. Beyond the Saturn lineup, the catalog features sections for games and peripherals for the Mega Drive and Game Gear systems. The page provides essential information for placing orders, detailing contact methods such as phone and fax numbers, payment options like cash on delivery, bank transfer, registered mail, and postal transfer, as well as shipping costs and instructions. It lists the store's address in Tokyo and includes a website URL for online reference. The page serves purely as a retail price list and ordering guide for classic Sega console software and hardware. This page dives deep into Chaos Seed. Feng Shui Chronicle, a unique dungeon-raising simulation game for the Sega Saturn from Neverland Company. The focus here is on tackling the game's challenging mystery cave puzzles. These mystery caves are presented as great ways to hone your dungeon-building skills, especially if you're looking for something different from the main game. They come with specific conditions and time limits, acting like concentrated tests of your knowledge. We see breakdowns of two specific puzzles. The first, Room Gods All Gather, requires you to construct various room types and throw them into the dragon hole under a tight 3-turn limit, with room points fluctuating based on size. The second, Rooms Without Doors, gives you just one turn to attach doors to a central room and build connecting passages, demonstrating how to work around strict door placement rules near corners and branches as illustrated by the diagram. There's also a segment discussing the educational value of these puzzles, like using diagrams to master Feng Shui principles, and an illustration of a game character. The page provides solution examples and hints, making it an essential guide for players looking to truly master Chaos Seed. A screenshot shows the game's interface during construction. This page continues exploring the mystery caves in Chaos Seed. Feng Shui Chronicle, presenting more unique challenges designed to sharpen your dungeon building expertise. You see puzzles numbered 03 through 08, each with a distinct theme and objective. Puzzle 03, Clearing the Sky, teaches efficient room management by focusing on reinforcing specific rooms using contraction and expansion techniques within a time limit. Puzzle 04, Slow and Steady, challenges your mastery of warp rooms, offering multiple solution paths all centered around strategic teleportation and understanding the influence of the earth element. One Warrior Against 1,000, Puzzle 05, is a survival challenge where you must fend off invading enemies without being able to create new warp rooms, emphasizing the use of your starting high-level spirit beast. Puzzle 06 is a very quick, one-turn task, highlighting the use of the Dragon's Cave, cautioning players about timing and repair needs. Failed Work, Puzzle 07, presents a scenario with initially broken rooms and requires you to develop energy production capabilities outside of standard production rooms by building and powering summoning rooms with elemental energies. Finally, Puzzle 08, Clairvoyance, focuses on achieving a whole search state by strategically connecting pathways to elemental rooms, demonstrating how corridor layout impacts the flow of kit within the dungeon. Screenshots show the specific room layouts and starting conditions for several of these intricate puzzles. The Mystery Caves of Chaos Seed. Feng Shui Chronicle features 6 new puzzles. Great Busy requires rapid production and energy collection within a time limit. Grand Welcome challenges players to defeat 100 enemies within a limited number of turns, utilizing time extension mechanics by building more rooms. Tunnel Opening focuses on elemental compatibility, demanding precise room placement to avoid negative interactions. Perfect Crime involves quickly building a transfer room and energy path within a single turn. Riding the Wind is a movement puzzle using belt conveyors. Finally, Synergistic Effect emphasizes manipulating elemental values to achieve a specific wind effect, utilizing room placement, door placement, and special items. These puzzles highlight the game's strategic building, management, and unique mechanics. The puzzle sections in Chaos Seed Feng Shui Chronicle continue, presenting new challenges. Puzzle 15, Minefield, focuses on strategic trap placement to defeat enemies within 3 turns. Puzzle 16, When Unable to Work, demands precise timing to manage energy deficiency within 1 turn, involving room repair, disbanding, and rebuilding. Puzzle 17, District Arrangement, requires achieving an elixir production of 100 within 6 turns by manipulating room and passage layouts, upgrading abilities, summoning elixir beasts, and optimizing transport. Finally, Puzzle 18, 100 Flowers in Full Bloom, tasks players with constructing 3 advanced workshops within 10 turns, requiring rapid construction, resource management, and elemental compatibility considerations to avoid energy shortages. This page continues with more challenging puzzles from Chaos Seed. Puzzle 19, titled Impossible Problem, is a comprehensive application test requiring you to deposit 10,000 energy into the Dragon Furnace within 8 turns. It presents standard and alternative strategies, focusing on optimizing production rooms, storage, and using special abilities or items to gather the necessary Dragonstone. Next up is Puzzle 20, Uninvited Guests, framed more as a unique scenario than a typical puzzle. The goal is to deposit 5,000 energy into the Dragon Furnace and defeat all enemies within 99 turns. The catch is that 28 enemies appear every turn when you make deposits, so the strategy involves depositing smaller amounts to buy time and level up your forces. The reward for completing this one is Rinkai's Tear. Screenshots show intense battles with many enemies swarming your base and character portraits. There's also a congratulatory section for players who have cleared all the puzzles, awarding them the Sword of the Raging Dragon, boasting the highest attack power for a standalone weapon. Finally, a summary section reviews the different types of puzzles encountered in the puzzles mode. It categorizes them into types like combat, elemental, complex, and resource management, explaining that tackling these challenges helps players better understand the game's mechanics and improve their strategy for the main story. It suggests reviewing the types of puzzles you found most difficult. This item list for Chaos Seed details story-related and standard tools/items. Story-related items, often oracles or techniques, offer effects like attack modifications. Some degrade into charming peach buns. This section also includes mirrors and scrolls with scenario-specific effects. Data provided includes carving time, elixir cost, and required level for each item. The Tools/Item section covers consumables like food for HP/MP recovery, elixirs for healing, and elemental stones for crafting and powering rooms. Utility items like fans are also included. The table explains how items power up/down and their effects, e.g., room stat boosts, energy increases. The table's columns clarify the carving/acquisition costs and the level impacting drop/carving success. This list is key for resource management and crafting, essential for game progression. This page continues the comprehensive item list for Chaos Seed. The top section, labeled Tools/Items, finishes detailing utility items like various incenses and special spheres, showing how they power up or down, their specific effects on room durability, player stats, or unique skills, alongside their crafting costs, carving and elixir, and required level. The bottom section, Weapons/Armor, introduces the equipment available. It covers different weapon categories such as hammers, scrolls, axes, and bells. For each piece of equipment, the table provides its potential power-up and power-down paths, a summary of its effect, like increasing critical hit chance, and detailed stats including MHP, MMP, ATP, DFP, INT, and SPD. Crucially for crafting, it also lists the costs in carving, elixir, and a separate crafting cost, plus the level needed to create or use the item. This section gives players vital information for equipping their characters and planning weapon progression. This page continues the comprehensive equipment guide for Chaos Seed. The detailed table covers various weapons, including different types of bows, claws, staffs, spears, shovels, swords, and daggers. For each weapon, the list provides crucial information for players looking to optimize their characters and crafting. It shows what each item upgrades or degrades into, describes its special effects like increasing critical hit rate or being usable only by specific characters, and lists the stat bonuses it provides across MP, MMP, ATP, DFP, INT, and SPD. The table also details the crafting costs in carving and elixir points, as well as a repair cost, and the required level to craft or use the item. This information is essential for planning equipment progression and managing resources in the game. This page continues the comprehensive equipment guide for Chaos Seed, shifting focus from weapons to defensive gear. The detailed table provides essential data for a wide array of armor pieces and protective items, falling under the quote or defense gear category. Just like the weapon guide, it lists each item, showing what it transforms into upon power up or power down, its unique effects, such as being usable by specific characters or providing special resistances, and the statistical bonuses it grants to MHP, MMP, ATP, DFP, INT, and SPD. It also includes the crafting costs in carving and elixir points, the required crafting/use level, and repair costs. This section is crucial for players planning their character's defense and resource management in the game. This page continues the in-depth equipment guide for Chaos Seed. Moving on to the crucial defense gear category. Presented in a comprehensive table, players can find detailed information on various protective items like armor, shields, belts, hats, prayer beads, chalices, and amulets. For each piece of gear, the guide shows how it transforms when powered up or down, its unique effects such as character restrictions, special abilities like dash bonuses, or magical effects like MP cost reduction for all techniques. The table also lists the statistical bonuses it provides to attributes like defense power, DFP, magic defense, INT, and speed, SPD, alongside crafting costs using carving and elixir points, the required level for use or crafting, and repair costs. This segment is vital for players strategizing their defensive build and resource management in the game. The next page offers a point-by-point strategy guide for the latter half of Langrisser 2, Dramatic Edition. It begins by explaining how the game's branching paths are determined, noting that choices made and actions taken in earlier scenarios, like those involving Sherry or defeating key characters, dictate which route the player takes. The bulk of the page provides tactical advice for various scenarios and maps in the game. For instance, the guide for Scenario 13, Map 57, advises splitting forces to flank enemies and avoid powerful meteor spells. Scenario 14, Map 25, suggests luring enemy water units onto land if a cautious approach is desired, while Map 84 on the same scenario warns players to manage their NPC allies carefully to prevent them from recklessly charging ahead and getting defeated. Other sections detail strategies like focusing forces on specific targets like Sonia, Map 83, unifying disparate units on maps with multiple bridges, Map 43, preventing enemy units from crossing water, Map 15, positioning slower units effectively, Map 14, blocking enemy retreat paths, Map 58, and creating defensive formations just outside the range of dangerous ballista units, Map 26. The guide emphasizes adapting tactics based on the specific map layout, enemy composition, and mission objectives. This guide summarizes tactics for Langrisser 2, Dramatic Edition, covering scenarios 15 to 17. Scenario 15 focuses on defending villagers, Map 2885. Defensive use of ballistas and mages, Map 44. Careful teleport use, Map 59. And Spectre weaknesses. Scenario 16 emphasizes strategic maneuvering. Key points include a left flank breakthrough, Map 16, quick victories with flying units, Map 27, caution based on force strength, Map 60, defensive entrance strategies with phalanxes and avoiding water combat, Map 86-29. Special attention is given to Ruga and Sonia's interaction, Map 45, which halves meteor spell threat. Scenario 17 highlights securing the ruin entrance while Ruga retrieves an item, Map 17, and eliminating a central ballista, Map 30. It also cautions against clustered units, emphasizing unit preservation, even if Jessica is defeated. This guide offers tactical advice for Langrisser 2's Scenario 17 and 18. Scenario 17 focuses on strategic unit positioning, like using decoys to lure enemies and managing reinforcements. Key maps include Map 46, Sonia recruitment via specific conditions, Map 87, Targeting Commander, Map 51, Strategic Land-Water Unit Engagement, and Map 6166, Experience Grinding with Time Limits. Scenario 18 emphasizes magic defense, particularly against spells like Meteor. Map 47 and 74 highlight boosting magic resistance and utilizing priest units. Maps 18 and 31/33 advise cautious positioning, especially near river crossings and within ballista range. Map 52 suggests indirect attacks and resistance against Meteor, while Map 62 emphasizes ship unit destruction and awareness of flying reinforcements and Imelda's spells. The guide stresses character recruitment, managing reinforcements, effective unit positioning, and balancing experience gain with time limits. Scenario 19 strategies for Der Langrisser are detailed across multiple maps. Key advice includes building strong front lines, using defensive units, and focusing on unit positioning to avoid devastating spells. Some maps emphasize aggressive play with spear and priest units, while others prioritize protecting NPCs and concentrating attacks on specific targets like Leon. Map-specific tactics vary, such as avoiding river crossings, Maps 32-34, controlling reinforcements, Map 63, and manipulating enemy spawns for experience, Map 48. Persuasion is crucial for obtaining allies like Sonia and Ruga. Failure can lead to significant challenges like multiple meteor hits. Specific unit compositions are also discussed, like against bosses, Map 22, and the use of archers or strategic ship movements, Map 75-89. This page serves as a crucial feedback mechanism for the SEGA Saturn magazine readers, presenting a survey postcard for them to submit their thoughts and preferences. It covers basic demographic information, reading habits, and opinions on the current issue. But its core function is to gauge interest in hardware and software. Readers are directed to reference 3 comprehensive lists. Table 1 details the articles featured in this specific issue, allowing readers to rank their favorites. Table 2 provides a list of SEGA Saturn hardware and peripherals, from the console itself to various controllers and accessories, asking readers to indicate what they own. Most importantly for a gamer, Table 3 is an extensive catalog of SEGA Saturn software, containing a mix of currently released hits and highly anticipated upcoming titles. This section acts as a wish list, prompting readers to select the top 10 games they are eager to purchase from this vast selection, which includes major titles like Virtua Fighter 3, Sakura Wars 2, Marvel Super Heroes vs. Street Fighter, and various RPGs and action games. By completing this survey, readers directly influence future magazine content and potentially the games that publishers prioritize. This page promotes the official guidebooks for Let's Make a Professional Baseball Team on SEGA Saturn, the third entry in the popular Tsukuru series. The page asks if you have what it takes to bring a new wind to the professional baseball world. It highlights 2 guidebooks, the Aiki Arc, which is already on sale for 950 yen, and the Yarikomi Arc, scheduled for release in late March 1998 for a provisional price of 1,400 yen. The guidebooks promise to cover the 4 key points of the game: team management, player training, camp strategy, and player data analysis. The imagery features a cartoony baseball player mascot alongside screenshots showing stadium views and gameplay from this detailed baseball simulation title. This page showcases several strategy titles from Koei. The main highlight is Nobunaga's Ambition, Rise to Power, the latest entry in the popular historical simulation series, set to release on April 2nd for 9,800 yen. It boasts a completely revamped system, emphasizing domain-based strategy and detailed battles that generate intense tension. The game invites players to unify the chaotic world by strategically expanding territory and overcoming fierce battles, marking the emergence of a new star to signal the end of the era. The page features a grand illustration of historical figures, likely Oda Nobunaga and his generals, alongside screenshots of the game's strategic map and battle scenes. Also featured is Decision of Commander 2I with Power-Up Kit, a WW2 simulation game focused on naval strategy, available on March 26th for 9,800 yen. It promises realistic naval combat and includes historical commanders. Additionally, Nobunaga's Ambition, Lord of Darkness, another historical simulation, is promoted with a release date of April 9th, at a lower price of 5,800 yen. Finally, Uncharted Waters Side Story, a follow-up to the acclaimed Uncharted Waters 2, is currently on sale for 6,800 yen. This adventure simulation introduces two new protagonists and expands upon the world of exploration and trade. Official guidebooks for Nobunaga's Ambition, Rise to Power, are also available. This page is a striking advertisement for Koei's horse racing simulation game, Winning Post 3, featuring an unusual visual motif of people wearing colorful masks. The main tagline emphasizes the excitement of breeding and developing your own horse bloodline. The game challenges players to reach the pinnacle of the horse racing world by utilizing real-name jockeys like Yutaka Take and aiming for victories in prestigious international races such as the Prix de l'Arc de Triomphe. You'll also manage your stable life with the help of various staff members, including secretaries and advisors. Winning Post 3 was released on April 2nd for 6,800 yen. The page also promotes a spring online competition and a special event at the Tokyo Game Show where players can compete with their best horses, alongside related merchandise like the image song and guidebooks. This page is a prominent advertisement announcing the launch of the Koei Best Collection on SEGA Saturn. The large red text boldly declares something like, "Koei is doing something big." It highlights that popular and acclaimed software titles are being re-released based on fan demand as part of the Best Collection, featuring Koei's strongest lineup. The collection was released on April 9th, Thursday. 5 titles are featured with their cover art and brief descriptions. You'll find the mysterious adventure game, Nanatsu no Hikan, likely localized as 7 Mansions, the highly regarded horse racing simulation Winning Post 2, an earlier title in the series seen on the previous page, the business simulation Air Management 96, utilizing 3D graphics, the historical simulation Taiko Rishiden 2, and the epic historical strategy game Romance of the Three Kingdoms IV. Most titles are priced at a budget-friendly 2,800 yen, while Romance of the Three Kingdoms IV is 3,800 yen. This collection offers players a chance to pick up some classic Koei simulation and adventure titles at a more accessible price point. This page is an advertisement for the SEGA Saturn game Chaos Seed, Legend of Fuin, developed by Neverland Company. It introduces the game as a new genre, dungeon raising simulation. The prominent vertical text poses the question, are you satisfied with errand games? Only those who are dissatisfied should challenge the real thing, suggesting a deeper, more substantial gameplay experience. The game is now on sale for a list price of 6,800 yen, excluding tax. The ad highlights a limited edition bonus for the first production run, an Omake CD. This CD features content guided by the heroines, voiced by popular voice actors Sakura Tange and Yuko Mizutani, including digital comics and original games. The page includes a screenshot showcasing the game's distinct art style and characters. The advertisement also notes that Neverland Company is participating in, especially, the Entertainment Software Publishing Group. This page promotes the official guidebook for the intense horror gun shooting game, The House of the Dead, a must-play title on the SEGA Saturn. This comprehensive guide covers everything you need to survive the onslaught, including detailed strategies for handling enemy zombie appearance points and effective counterattack procedures. It provides essential combat techniques and precise walkthroughs for tackling the challenging boss battles, ensuring you know how to overcome these formidable foes. Additionally, the guide delves into the game's hidden mysteries and provides intriguing setting materials that expand on the lore. The guide, designed to completely cover the game, was planned for release in late March at an estimated price of 1,200 yen. It was published by Sega Enterprises and released by SoftBank. The page features the iconic game title art, dynamic artwork depicting the terrifying zombies and the protagonist in action, alongside several screenshots showcasing moments from the game, giving a glimpse into the frantic gameplay. This page features the official guidebook for the classic SEGA Saturn RPG, The Legend of Heroes, A Tear of Vermilion. This comprehensive guide is essential for navigating the game, covering everything from explaining the battle system and introducing the cast of characters, to providing detailed maps and a full story walkthrough. It also unveils hidden events and rare items you might not discover on your own. A major highlight for fans is the inclusion of interviews with the character designer and animation director, Soeta Kazuhiro, offering insight into the game's creation. Furthermore, the guide contains storyboards from the game's animated sequences, unseen concept art, and other valuable setting materials. Published by SoftBank, This 128-page guide is priced at 1,300 yen and is currently available, making it a must-have for anyone playing this fantastic RPG on the Saturn. This page features an announcement from Società Daikanyama regarding their X-specified software titles for the Sega Saturn. The company is discontinuing production of the Sega Saturn-specific X-specified software games, the Yakuken Special, and Haunted Casino, effective March 31, 1998. They express gratitude to players who have supported these titles for a long time. The discontinuation is framed partly in the context of respecting the purpose of discontinuing X-rated software for the healthy development of the video game industry. However, they also announced their continued commitment to developing games recommended for ages 18 and up. The announcement highlights their next release, Tamasama game, described as the second recommended title for ages 18 and up, set to be released on May 28. The page includes box art for the two discontinued games, showing typical visuals for adult-oriented titles, and a small character figure. It's clear the company is shifting its focus within the adult game market, rather than abandoning it entirely. This page is your essential guide to the newest and upcoming Sega Saturn releases, designed to help you plan your game purchases. Dominated by vibrant artwork featuring Bomberman characters dressed as various game genre archetypes, a ninja, a princess, a king, a knight, a cleric, and a witch, it highlights the diverse lineup hitting the console. The upper section focuses on the latest releases, pointing you to pages covering titles like Moteke Tamago, with Ganbare Mononoshi and Karyotos. The larger lower section showcases hotly anticipated games releasing soon. It provides a rundown of titles like Princess Maker, Yumemiru Yusei, The Fighting Juggernaut, The King of Fighters, 97, the strategy title Bomberman Wars, the horror classic, The House of the Dead, platforming with Clockwork Knight, and the puzzle game Pow Pow Island, the simulation game, The Convenience Store 2, the racing game Technomotor, the strategy game Yoshimura Shogi, Japanese chess, and the fantasy shooter Hexen, Beyond Heretic. It's a solid list, covering multiple genres, giving players a look at what's hitting the Saturn store shelves imminently. This page dives deep into the action party game, Moteke Tamago, with Ganbare Kamonohashi. Developed by Naxat Soft, a company known for their work on the PC Engine, this title is described as a simple yet incredibly addictive action game, perfect for 4 players. The core gameplay revolves around collecting eggs found scattered across the screen. Once collected, these eggs will hatch into chicks, referred to as hina. The goal is to return as many of these hatched chicks to your own nest as possible within a time limit to score points. It's a straightforward rule set designed for immediate fun, particularly in the competitive 4-player mode. The page showcases several screenshots. There's a top-down view of the gameplay arena, showing multiple characters navigating the environment and interacting with eggs. Another image depicts a screen that appears to be for setting up a multiplayer match, or showing the roster of available characters, highlighting the varied animal characters players can control, including some that might make you chuckle. The score screen reveals a point tally for 4 players after a round, indicating the fast-paced nature of the scoring. Finally, charming illustrations of the main characters, the platypus, Kamonohashi, and a duck, are featured, hinting at a narrative involving the platypus losing eggs and the duck's appearance. The game supports connecting up to 4 controllers for intense battles, promising heated competition among friends. It covers both a 1-player story mode and the highlighted 4-player battle. This page introduces the hilarious 3D action game Kiryo Otose. The core concept is simple and chaotic. Kick your opponents off the arena. Described as having easy controls and rules, it's a straightforward and cathartic experience that's great for stress relief. The game supports up to 4 players simultaneously with a multi-tap, promising lively matches. You can choose from about 21 distinct characters. Basic controls are limited to just 3 actions: jump, kick, and special move. Winning methods include directly kicking foes off the stage, using balls that appear in the arena as projectiles, or deploying special moves which automatically target opponents once your gauge is full. There are also air bombs that explode after a delay, adding another layer of strategy to trap enemies. The page highlights that Kiryo Otose offers 2 modes: a story mode where you compete in a tournament on Kiryo Mountain against CPU characters to unlock character CG movies, and a battle mode perfect for competitive play with friends. The game received an 88% completion rating, suggesting a polished and enjoyable experience. It's touted as a rule-free, expansive, and explosively funny 3D action title. This page focuses on the upcoming SEGA Saturn release of Princess Maker. Yumemiru Yusei. As the latest entry in the well-known schedule management and raising simulation series, it tasks the player with raising a young girl to achieve her dream of becoming a princess. The core gameplay revolves around managing the daughter's schedule, choosing activities like studying, working part-time jobs, or resting. These choices directly influence her various parameters, shaping her personality and abilities. The page highlights the initial setup, where players determine the daughter's name, birthday, and blood type, noting that these initial settings significantly impact her growth trajectory and potential throughout the game. The daughter introduced is a fairy named Actress, who comes to the human world with the dream of royalty. The game offers flexibility, allowing players to raise the daughter in various ways, from well-mannered to highly individualistic. Screenshots showcase the character status screen, displaying numerous parameters, and the scheduling interface. The game is being developed by Gainax and is set for release on May 28th for 5,800 yen, supporting a single player. The development status is reported at 75% completion. The text includes a message from the development team expressing their dedication to making the SEGA Saturn version enjoyable following the PlayStation release. The next page continues the guide for Princess Maker. Yumemiru Yusei, detailing the core schedule management system. It breaks down the three main activity types the daughter can undertake: studying, part-time work, and resting. Studying is presented as the most effective way to raise the daughter's parameters, although it requires paying tuition. Different types of studying are available, influencing which parameters grow. The page mentions events like tests and encounters with rivals occurring during study sessions. Part-time work is the means for the daughter to earn money, useful when finances are tight. While primarily for income, part-time jobs can also influence parameters, sometimes positively and sometimes negatively, depending on the job. Various jobs exist, such as babysitting or working at the market, each with potential events. Resting is crucial for managing stress, which accumulates from other activities. High stress levels can lead to illness, making scheduling impossible. Resting options include simple free time or taking a vacation. Vacations are costly, but significantly reduce stress and can even boost some parameters, while free time offers options like walking or shopping. Finally, the page emphasizes the importance of conversation with the daughter outside of the set schedule, noting that it can have positive effects and is key for parent-child communication. Screenshots illustrate the different activity selection screens, scenes from studying and working, and a stressed-out daughter indicating illness. This page dives deep into the King of Fighters 97, highlighting its impending release. It notes the game is set to launch on March 26th, priced at 5,800 yen for the standalone software, or 7,800 yen bundled with the expansion RAM cartridge, which is required for the game. The article expresses excitement for KOF 97, praising its large roster of characters and the inclusion of 2 different modes to suit various playstyles, emphasizing its high replayability. It also reveals how to unlock the hidden characters, Orochi Yashiro, Orochi Shermie, and Orochi Chris, by holding the start button during character selection and inputting specific directional commands plus a button. Additionally, the classic 94 version of Kyo Kusanagi is unlockable by holding start and selecting Kyo. The page also touches upon the Tokyo Game Show, mentioning Smog's impressive booth, featuring promotion videos, and encouraging readers to visit. It specifically calls out the Saturn version of KOF 97 as a highlight at the show, noting that the demo includes practice mode, sound options, and an art gallery. Move lists are provided for 94 Kyo, Orochi Yashiro, Orochi Shermie, and Orochi Chris, detailing their special and super moves with directional inputs and button combinations. Screenshots show character artwork and dynamic in-game action. The article serves as a guide for newcomers, offering details on essential techniques and character moves. This page continues the deep dive into the King of Fighters 97, highlighting 6 more members of the extensive roster, presented as they might have been featured at the Tokyo Game Show 98 spring event. We see detailed profiles for the protagonist team and the Psycho Soldier team. For the protagonist team, we have Kyo Kusanagi, described as a versatile rushdown character with strong special moves for pressure and defense. Benimaru Nikaido is highlighted for his long-reaching normals and lightning attacks, effective at controlling space and possessing reliable combos. Ugoro Daimon is, naturally, the grappler, best at close range, but needing smart tactics to get there, with specific tips for capitalizing on knockdowns. Moving to the Psycho Soldier team, Athena Asamiya is presented as a well-rounded character, though her anti-air options are noted as a potential weakness. Kensu excels at long-range pokes with his dragon skills, controlling the pace of the fight. Lastly, Chin Gensai is the unique, drunken master, utilizing his distinct stance for tricky setups and effective pressure. Each profile includes a screenshot showcasing their moves, and a recommended combo for players to practice. This page continues the character spotlight for the King of Fighters 97, focusing on the 97 Special Team and the Fatal Fury Team. The 97 Special Team features Yamazaki Ryuji, who uses his long-reach normal attacks and unique Serpent Cane technique to control space and pressure opponents. Blue Mary is highlighted for her small stature but effective zoning tools and command throws like Backdrop Reel, which can be linked from specific moves. Billy Kane wields his staff for excellent reach, using moves like his staff attacks and rotation kicks to keep opponents at bay and initiate combos. Each character section provides key tactics, a useful tip, and a practical combo example. Moving to the Fatal Fury team, Terry Bogard is presented as a versatile character with strong fundamentals and special moves like Power Charge and Rising Tackle, effective for both offense and anti-air. Andy Bogard's playstyle is noted as requiring precise execution, relying on moves like his Shoryuken and zoning tools to land hits and follow up with aerial combos or special attacks. Joe Higashi utilizes long-range attacks like Hurricane Upper and Slash Kick for zoning and closing the distance, with his Screw Upper and Golden Heel serving as key finishers or anti-air options. Like the previous characters, their profiles include strategic advice, a key tip, and a suggested combo route. This guide profiles the Korea team and Ikari Warriors team from King of Fighters 97. The Korea team features Kim Kafwan, a close to mid-range fighter who relies on powerful taekwondo kicks and combo potential. Cheng Kohan uses his size for zoning with long-range attacks and devastating command throws. Choi Bounge is a tricky character known for his fast movement and aerial attacks. The Ikari Warriors include Leona Heidern, who focuses on zoning and anti-air with her Moonslasher. Ralph Jones relies on powerful normal attacks and command throws, including the Super Argentine Backbreaker. Clark Steele is a grappling specialist who uses command throws to control the fight, also utilizing the Super Argentine Backbreaker. Each character section provides a basic strategy, tactical tip, and combo demonstration, along with a portrait and screenshot. This page continues the look at the characters in King of Fighters 97, highlighting teams that were likely featured at the Tokyo Game Show Spring 98. It profiles the Art of Fighting team, featuring Ryo Sakazaki, Robert Garcia, and Yuri Sakazaki. Ryo is described as a strong, all-around fighter, good at mid-range zoning and close-up pressure. Robert is noted for having similar techniques but with subtle differences, focusing on zoning with strong normal attacks and aerial moves. Yuri is highlighted for having strong standing and crouching attacks, useful in close range, and her Tiger Flame Punch is effective against aerial opponents. Each character section includes strategy tips and a key combo demonstrated with a screenshot. The page also introduces the new female fighters team, profiling Chizuru Kagura, Mai Shiranui, and King. Chizuru is presented as a fighter who excels at maintaining distance with her special moves and teleportation. Mai is described as having several useful special moves, particularly her fan throw for zoning and the White Heron Dance as an anti-air. King, while weakened from the previous game, still possesses useful zoning tools like the Surprise Rose, and remains effective with certain normal attacks and combos. Like the Art of Fighting team, their profiles include strategies, tips, and example combos with screenshots, offering players insights into their strengths and recommended tactics. This page continues the character breakdown for the King of Fighters 97, focusing on the new face team and members of the edit team who could be added to custom lineups, likely featured at the Tokyo Game Show Spring 98. It profiles the new face team, Nanankase Yashiro, a powerful close-range fighter who uses moves like Jet Counter to control space. Shermie, a throwing character who excels at mid-range and relies on landing her Shermie Spiral. And Chris, a ground-based fighter who utilizes kicks for zoning and the spinning array for pressure, though his special moves have notable recovery on guard. Each profile provides strategic advice and a key combo demonstrated with a screenshot. The page also looks at two members of the edit team, Yagami Yori and Yabuki Shingo. Iori is described as a versatile character with high performance, noting the effectiveness of his command grabs like Kuzukaze for disabling opponents. Shingo, who has many techniques similar to Kyokusanagi, is presented as a character still developing but with useful zoning and anti-air options, and unique versions of moves like Aragami and Dakugami. Their sections similarly include strategy tips and example combos to help players understand their strengths. This page provides a deep dive into Bomberman Wars, presenting it as a turn-based strategy game akin to chess or shogi. The core gameplay involves players controlling Bomberman units, engaging in strategic battles turn by turn. Preparation for battle takes place within Bomberman Castle, which houses several distinct rooms. The Rule Room serves as a tutorial space explaining the game's mechanics. In the Grand Hall, players can purchase unique items from Bomber Archind using coins earned in battle, acquiring special abilities not found elsewhere. The Training Ground is where players assemble their party, led by the fixed Bomber King and up to 4 additional units like the Fighter, Witch, Cleric, and Thief, each with different abilities. The War Room is where you select the stages for battle from a 5x5 grid surrounding the castle, starting with those adjacent to your base. Finally, the library allows players to save and load their game data before deploying, a crucial step as saving isn't possible during combat. The page shows screenshots of these various preparation rooms, and a glimpse of the stage selection map. This page delves into the heart of battle in Bomberman Wars, showcasing the turn-based strategic combat. The core gameplay loop is detailed through numbered steps. Units move in 4 directions, strategically positioning themselves. Bombs are placed near enemies. Purchased items can be used during your turn for an advantage, while items found mid-battle are instantly effective. Ending your turn switches control to the opponent. Bomb timers count down each turn. When a bomb's count reaches 0, it explodes, dealing damage in a cross shape. And finally, if the remaining time hits 0, 2 bombs will rain down randomly each turn. The page also highlights how battles can yield items for power-ups, including those that grant transformations into impressive forms like the Dragon Rider, allowing flight, or the Cerberus Knight, offering superior movement. Several types of battle stages are featured. The Bomber Castle serves as a training stage, depicting the past world of Bomberland. The Tower of Training is a challenging stage with obstacles. The Forest of Thieves is noted for enemies with high mobility, and requires strategic use of obstacles to trap foes. Clearing certain stages can advance the game's story or unlock benefits. The battles featured show teams of Bombermen and various other units engaging in tactical combat on grid-based maps, littered with destructive blocks and hazards. This page shifts focus to the upcoming SEGA Saturn release of The House of the Dead. It highlights the game's status as a popular arcade title making its way to home consoles, specifically mentioning the use of the Virtua Gun accessory for authentic light gun gameplay. The Saturn version is set to release on March 26th for 5,800 yen and supports 1 or 2 players. The article delves into the game's branching path system, focusing on Stage 2, subtitled Revenge. While Stage 2 has fewer branching points than Stage 1, the page explains there are still 4 points where the path can change, though 3 of these lead to the same route, effectively offering 2 distinct paths through the stage. Players will have more opportunities to choose their path compared to forced route changes in Stage 1. The map visualizes the layout of Stage 2, showing connections between rooms like the art room, dining room, and bedroom, and marking the key branching points A, B, C, and D. Screenshots showcase specific moments and branching points. Point A, the start of Stage 2, is detailed with an image of a floor vent and a stone lid. The article explains that shooting or not shooting this lid determines the route taken. Another screenshot shows a dark path leading to a sewer area, where specific enemies called Ebitan await. The content encourages players to master all the possible routes by replaying the stage. This page continues the walkthrough and features for the House of the Dead on SEGA Saturn, focusing further on Stage 2. It details the branching paths. Diverging Point B, the bridge, where shooting a switch lowers an elevator. This path leads to the lower floor where many zombies await. Diverging Point C is the collapsed floor. Being hit by the fat zombie, Ventrier, here intentionally causes you to fall to the floor below, allowing you to save an extra researcher. Diverging Point D is the laboratory switch. Shooting or not shooting a switch here causes a minor route change, primarily affecting the number and type of zombies encountered. The page also highlights the goal of saving all researchers in Stage 2. There are a total of 7 researchers, and depending on your route, you can save up to 6. Saving researchers is crucial as it recovers your life, which is limited in the game. Finally, it introduces the Stage 2 boss, the Hanged Man. His primary attack involves controlling bats. While the bats attack, you can still damage the Hanged Man directly, even if you ignore the bats. Defeating all the bats causes him to switch to a scratch attack. This page provides tactical details on how to navigate Stage 2's branches and deal with its boss, emphasizing the importance of researcher rescue for survival. This page previews Clockwork Knight 2, titled Clock Tan in Japan, a charming action puzzle game coming soon to the Sega Saturn. The story sees you playing as Clock, on a quest to rescue your friend Popao and scattered crystals from the evil wizard Zahatolt XIII. Your journey takes you across 4 distinct islands: Highlands, Ice, Mountain, Desert, and the Villain's Castle. The game is highlighted for its enjoyable blend of action and puzzle elements, featuring unique and cute characters. The gameplay involves basic movements like running and jumping, along with combat actions such as a tail attack and the ability to ride stunned enemies. Dodging and platforming are key, with special moves like quick 180-degree turns essential for navigating traps and enemies. Each stage leverages its environment, like sliding on ice in the Ice Mountain area. The game also includes impressive CG movie sequences, especially before boss battles, enhancing the fantasy setting and showing Zahatolt XIII's magic at work. Clockwork Knight 2 promises a system playable by a wide range of gamers, from beginners to core users. It was released on March 26th for 5,800 yen. This page dives deeper into the first island of Clockwork Knight 2, the Highlands, detailing its structure and challenges. It highlights the essential items you'll encounter: the box for getting items, the crystal for earning extra lives by collecting 100, and the heart for an instant 1-up. The Highlands is broken down into 6 distinct stages. The initial stages serve as a tutorial for basic actions and item use, while later stages introduce more complex elements like lava hazards, moving platforms, and specific enemy types requiring careful navigation and timing. Stages range from simple puzzle-like areas to dangerous environments demanding precise movement and strategic thinking, especially when rescuing your friend Pow Pow from various predicaments, such as being trapped in wells or held in boxes. The page also covers the boss encounters in the Highlands. The mid-boss requires careful preparation with crystals before engaging in a battle that tests your ability to find openings against its body and tail attacks. The main boss of the area is Bavarois Joe, revealed to be the wizard Zahatolt the 13th transformed. You must navigate to his room and then face off against his punch-centric attacks, finding moments to strike back after dodging his blows to knock him down and inflict damage. After conquering the challenges of the Highlands, the page teases the next exciting area awaiting Clock, the chilling ice world. This page previews the Convening 2, a convenience store management simulation game from Human. It was featured at the Tokyo Game Show 98 Spring and released on March 12, 1998, costing 5,800 yen. The game is recommended for all ages. The focus here is on management strategy, specifically how to dominate the map by effectively expanding your chain. Using the SEGA map as an example, the guide identifies key locations for placing stores, discussing the benefits and drawbacks of different areas, such as highly developed spots with rivals versus less developed areas with potential for growth near intersections or railway lines. For the early game, within the first 2 years, the strategy emphasizes establishing a solid base by opening multiple stores simultaneously, ideally starting with at least 2 or 3. Screenshots show recommended locations for the main store and subsequent branches, suggesting tactics like positioning stores to surround rivals. The guide also advises upgrading initial small stores to medium size as quickly as possible, even using bank loans, because medium stores offer significantly better sales and customer traffic due to a wider selection of items. The SEGA map itself is presented with its clear condition: 5 billion yen total sales. Difficulty level, 2 stars. Initial funds, 100 million yen. 1 medium rival store, and a starting population of 2,196. This page continues the strategy guide for the Convening 2, focusing on mid to late game progression. From years 3 to 5, the goal shifts to chain expansion and deliberate town development. Placing stores strategically near intersections or where their influence areas overlap is key, as this significantly boosts land value and attracts more customers, accelerating overall town growth. The reach of your stores varies depending on how customers travel, with pedestrian range being about 15 squares. Entering year 6 and heading towards the clear condition means it's time for a final push, specifically by attracting large-scale buildings. Key targets include universities and specialty schools, which are excellent for convenience stores, as students frequent them daily. Amusement parks and zoos also draw crowds, especially on weekends, but may not provide the same consistent traffic as educational institutions. Attracting the right buildings to surround your stores is crucial for hitting that sales target, which is 1 billion yen per store per month in this case. Efficient management is also covered. Utilizing the bank wisely is essential for rapid expansion. The guide illustrates how consistently borrowing and repaying increases your credit rating, allowing access to larger funds needed for growth. Furthermore, training your employees, particularly the store manager, is critical. A manager needs a high education stat, ideally over 80. And overall balance stats are important for the team's performance. The Saturn version allows you to focus employee training on specific skills. The next page introduces Technomotor, a music creation software coming soon to the Sega Saturn, highlighted as an exhibit from the '98 Spring Tokyo Game Show. It's designed for both beginners and experienced users, aiming to let anyone enjoy making music easily, even without reading sheet music or prior musical knowledge. The software boasts over 10,000 sounds and uses a simple system based on 4 tracks, melody, bass, and 2 rhythm tracks built by arranging patterns, which are 4/4 of a bar segments. Editing is described as easy and intuitive, with graphical interfaces and fine-tuning options. A cool feature is the real-time performance mode, allowing players to jam along with their creations, supporting up to 2 players. It was scheduled for release on March 26th for 4,800 yen and is recommended for all ages. The page emphasizes its appeal to those who want to create music but might lack instruments, bandmates, or formal training. This page continues showcasing Technomotor, detailing the step-by-step process of creating music with the software. It breaks down song production into clear stages. First, developing the core idea for the song, like the radio calisthenics techno example shown with a photo of 2 people discussing. Next, choosing from the vast library of sounds, illustrated by a sound list interface. Then, building basic patterns, typically starting with rhythm tracks, shown with a step sequencer view, followed by arranging these patterns into variations and adding melodies, depicted with a pattern editor showing musical notes. And finally, applying effects and adjusting dynamics like velocity to polish the sound. The process culminates in structuring the song by arranging the finished patterns, shown in an arrangement view, and featuring the software's cute character mascots. A helpful tip box highlights the efficiency of using cut and paste for editing patterns. The page also proudly features an event where music created with Technomotor was performed live at a club, receiving praise for its unexpected quality, accompanied by photos of the event and a DJ. Lastly, it mentions a tour, bringing in-store demonstrations of Technomotor to various locations. This page showcases Yoshimura Shogi, the latest entry in the Issei Meijin Shogi series. The main focus is on the significantly improved Shogi AI developed from scratch by Mr. Yoshimura himself, promising greater strength and faster thinking compared to previous titles. Key features highlighted include standard match modes with various handicaps and adjustable CPU difficulty levels, ranging from beginner-friendly to challenging. A dedicated Sume Shogi puzzles mode allows players to create and solve their own problems, with the CPU attempting to find the solution. For Shogi enthusiasts, the game includes a robust Kifu reproduction mode featuring data from famous historical matches, including those from the Edo period, allowing players to replay legendary games. The game also supports the Sega Saturn shuttle mouse for intuitive control. The options menu provides customization for gameplay, including mouse sensitivity and sound settings like BGM volume and the ability to toggle piece sounds. Release details confirm the game is published by Konami, supports 1 player, is recommended for all ages, and was scheduled for release in March 1998 at a price of 5,800 yen. The page even includes a brief introduction to famous historical shogi masters whose game records are featured. This page previews the upcoming release of Hexen on the Sega Saturn, described as a fantasy version of the worldwide hit 3D shooter, Doom, from its original creators. An evil serpent rider named Korax has arrived and is transforming the world into hell, and it's up to the player to stop him. The game is a thrilling 3D action title set in complex dungeons filled with difficult traps and puzzles, where challenging monsters await. Players can choose from one of 3 distinct heroes: the melee-focused warrior, the balanced cleric who wields both weapons and magic, or the powerful spellcasting mage, each offering a unique playstyle to tackle the game's obstacles. Screenshots showcase the intense combat, exploration of atmospheric levels, discovery of hidden passages, and the use of powerful new weapons. The page highlights the anticipation for this challenging adventure just before its release. This page features a promotional piece for the official guidebook for the acclaimed SEGA Saturn title, Burning Rangers. The striking artwork showcases the game's main characters, Xiao Amabane, Chris Parton, and Tillis, alongside Big Landman, set against a backdrop of futuristic environments and energy effects, reflecting the game's thrilling rescue action theme. The text prominently announces Burning Rangers Official Guide, highlighting it as a SEGA official exclusive. The guide promises comprehensive coverage, detailing basic controls and systems, providing maps to navigate complex stages, and explaining the game's unique Generate system. It also includes character profiles, developer insights from Sonic Team, and other valuable information for fans. The core message of the guide is captured in the phrase, "With this one book, rescue all the people in need." The guide is presented as an essential tool for players looking to master the game's challenges. The page also provides details about the guide's specifications: a 5 size, 104 pages, and a price of 1,000 yen, stating that it is now on sale. This page introduces a significant strategy guide section for SEGA Saturn software released after the console's initial launch. The prominent title declares it a complete strategy guide for SEGA Saturn Soft. The page features striking anime artwork depicting 3 characters: a blue-haired woman, a man in a suit, and a purple-haired woman, likely from some of the titles covered within. The guide promises comprehensive data, key points, and thorough strategies for a variety of games. The contents list reveals coverage starting from page 146 with Burning Rangers, followed by Dokoku Soshite on page 149, Eve the Lost One on page 152, The Legend of Heroes, A Tear of Vermilion on page 156, the critically acclaimed Panzer Dragoon Saga on page 160, Machi on page 162, Princess Quest on page 166, and Pro Yaku Team wo Tsukuru on page 168. This section appears to be a valuable resource for players looking to master some of the Saturn's notable later releases. The next page continues the strategy guide for Dokoku Soshite, focusing specifically on navigating the paths of 2 characters who are always together, Itsumi and Chisa. These 2 high school students were caught in an accident on their way back from a trip. The guide emphasizes that, because they are always a pair, initial events influence which character's ending you are set towards, and notably, focusing on helping Chisa will make Itsumi's events almost impossible to see. Character descriptions highlight Itsumi's gentle, motherly nature, and Chisa's inner strength, despite her outward appearance. Several key events are detailed. One involves a promise made outside, near a butterfly by the window, where the protagonist must agree to whatever Chisa says. Another covers a bath scene, emphasizing that even in the dangerous setting, the 2 maintain a sense of normal travel enjoyment, showcasing their playful interaction. The final event discussed involves Chikatisa hiding an injury after falling downstairs to avoid worrying Itsumi, demonstrating her selfless nature, which is heartbreaking to witness. The page features screenshots depicting these moments, illustrating the bond and individual personalities of Itsumi and Chisa within the game's narrative. This page continues the strategy guide for Dokoku Soshite, focusing on specific events involving Itsumi and Chisa. It details several crucial moments players must navigate to progress their story paths. One event requires you to retrieve an item for Itsumi that fell into a hole, emphasizing the need to use a fishing hook and thread, showcasing problem-solving through item use. Another critical moment involves Chikasa suffering a second injury in the laundry room. Fixing a machine to help her requires a combination of items like a hairpin and screwdrivers. The guide also points out the significance of finding a wooden bird given by Chisa, which is tied to a clock puzzle. A key strategic tip highlights that earning points for Chisa's ending is particularly challenging, and events relevant to her can occur in seemingly unrelated locations, so players must explore carefully but avoid touching unnecessary things. Further events described include opening a specific electronic lock near the stairs and receiving a ribbon gift from Itsumi after talking to other characters, an event that leads to Chisasa changing her hairstyle. Finally, the guide touches upon the grim possibility of Chisasa being the first victim if a critical survival event fails, leading to a depressed Itsumi and potentially a brutal outcome if the correct escape route isn't taken, starkly contrasting with the positive outcome where both Itsumi and Chisasa survive. This Dokoku Soshite strategy guide focuses on crucial events, The guide details how to trigger gum-related events and use items to avoid upsetting Itsumi. Another event involves the player picking up a paper bag, with Itsumi's reaction being the key. Players are then guided through a kitchen exploration where Itsumi hides under a table, and a butter knife is needed to proceed. A key section discusses the best hiding place for a corpse, a life and death event, where Itsumi's unhappiness with the spot is acknowledged. Finally, Seduced and Trapped follows a failed survival event. If Itsumi sees blood on the player, she reacts with distress, leading to a disturbing revelation about her condition near the data room. This page provides a strategy guide for Burning Rangers, focusing specifically on Mission 2 and its varied, generate example patterns. As any veteran of Burning Rangers knows, Mission 2 is notoriously complex due to its generative map system, which necessitates a thorough understanding of its potential layouts. The guide highlights several key scenarios. The first example details a significant route change in the Dolphin Tank area that occurs after obtaining an Iboid card. You'll need to navigate through the maintenance floor below to reach the generator room. While initially seemingly complex, it's described as essentially a single path, making getting lost unlikely. The second example discusses rooms containing events that are guarded by Guardian D mechs. The guide notes there's usually only one Guardian D in these spots, which isn't particularly challenging to defeat by itself, but players should be ready to attack immediately after defeating it due to potential environmental hazards. The third example covers a pattern where the starting path is immediately blocked, forcing players to take a detour. This pattern is noted as having less dramatic changes compared to others in Mission 2. There's also a section mentioning the unexpected appearance of a special rescue target, Elliot, from a previous magazine issue. Finally, a reference password, Phibog Pre-Lao, is provided, along with a description of the pattern changes it brings, including fewer crystals and more explosive events, making it a slightly more difficult run. The screenshots on the page illustrate these different mission scenarios and characters you'll encounter. This page explores unlockable content and special features in Burning Rangers, particularly within Mission 2. It highlights 5 special rescuers available in Mission 2, including female staff members, and even the potential appearance of Clarice and Elliot under specific conditions. The page details how passwords, obtained through emails from special rescuers, including developers like Shinichi Higashi, unlock new content. One grants access to Chris in BGM mode. Ilya appears as a playable character in Mission 2, accessible via a password. Furthermore, the page unveils the sub-game mode, granting access to the burning ship stage from Mission 4, accessible by meeting certain conditions, including receiving an email from McNeil after completing Mission 3. These unlockables offer enhanced replayability and insight into the game's creators. The next page focuses on special guest characters appearing in Burning Rangers, specifically Elliot and Clarice, from Nights into Dreams. It confirms their appearance as special rescuers in Mission 2, noting that they have unique character models. The conditions for encountering them are tied to having save data from either Nights into Dreams or Christmas Nights into Dreams present on the SEGA Saturn's memory. Elliot Edwards, the main character from Nights, and Clarice Sinclair, the other protagonist from Nights, are introduced with brief descriptions. The page also details how successfully rescuing them can lead to receiving emails, potentially unlocking further content. The content emphasizes the rarity and random nature of their appearance, encouraging players to keep trying it. Additionally, the page provides gameplay tips for the Burning Ship subgame. It showcases various obstacles encountered in this mode, such as collapsing passages, flaming paths, large fans, and shifting walls, advising players on how to navigate them. It also offers strategic advice for the subgame, stressing the importance of evasion over attack and focusing on collecting crystals and using speed boosts effectively to achieve high scores within the time limit. Screenshots illustrate the character models, the subgame obstacles, and gameplay in action. This page shifts focus entirely to the adventure game, Even the Lost One. It provides a detailed guide specifically covering the events of June 4th in the game's timeline, picking up from the earlier days mentioned previously. The guide breaks down the day's events for the character Kojiko Iats, offering a step-by-step sequence of commands and locations to visit. It lists actions like checking her house, visiting the Investigation Division headquarters, exploring Seikai's house, the Genesis Sea World, the World Import Tower, and the park. These lists detail the necessary actions, such as talking to characters like the branch manager, Monica, or others, examining objects, thinking, moving between locations, and even specific actions like taking a bath or changing discs, all crucial for advancing the plot. Accompanying the guide are character art of Kojiko, and a screenshot depicting an airport or terminal scene labeled Snake. Eldia, is that it? The text below this screenshot notes that the characters are traveling to Eldia by air this time, not by ship, and expresses the complicated feelings surrounding the journey. Overall, this page serves as a practical walkthrough for players stuck on or progressing through June 4th of Eve the Lost One, providing the exact sequence of actions needed to move forward in the story. This page continues the in-depth strategy guide for the adventure game Eve the Lost One, focusing specifically on the Snake chapter for June 4th. It provides a step-by-step walkthrough detailing the actions needed to advance the story from this perspective, running parallel to the Katsuko chapter. The guide indicates that disc swapping is sometimes necessary to proceed, marking these points clearly. The guide covers various locations the player will visit, including the character's home, a park, a tower, a cafe, the cabinet investigation room, a computer room, Genesis SeaWorld, a research lab, the director's office, the World Import Tower, and the Imagi Detective Agency. For each location, a list of actions is provided, such as looking at the surroundings or specific objects, thinking, talking to characters like Monica, Marina, or others, listening to conversations, moving between areas, and performing specific tasks like using a computer or investigating items. Character art is featured, showing Katsuko Kudo pointing dramatically, with dialogue questioning if a culprit is being revealed. Another image shows Marina arriving in a red Lotus, stating the characters are also heading to Elbedia. A screenshot depicts Kojiro Serizawa in a room, with a caption mentioning that knowing him can lead to meeting Queen Priscilla, and noting his appearance at the detective agency alongside Kaiko Himuro as seemingly strong allies. This page continues the detailed strategy guide for the adventure game Eve the Lost One, still focusing on the pivotal day of June 4th in the city of Eldia, following the parallel paths of the characters Snake and Katsuko. The guide provides steps for Snake's progression, noting his arrival in Eldia, which resembles a royal palace, and how June 4th feels like a long day due to time differences with rapidly changing situations. His walkthrough covers locations like the royal palace, the museum, and the cabinet investigation room, detailing actions such as examining surroundings, thinking, and interacting with characters like Monica, Priscilla, and the Archbishop. A notable image shows a sleeping girl, identified as Mahoko Du, unexpectedly placed within the royal palace, suggesting her significance. Another image features a character likely encountered in the museum. The guide then transitions to Katsuko's perspective on June 4th, mentioning her stay in a modest hotel in Elsadia and her apparent proximity to the criminal. Her section outlines movements and actions within the Hotel Rukanshe, a dance hall, and the museum, involving interactions with characters like Yuji, Luca, and Mina, as well as hotel staff. Images accompanying this section include a view of Elstadia, where the background changes color, and a scene featuring a hostess, identified as Luca, offering Katsuko an inconspicuous room, highlighting Luca's surprising kindness despite a pushy demeanor. The guide continues to provide essential steps for players navigating these complex storylines for both characters. This page continues the comprehensive strategy guide for Even the Lost One, featured at the Tokyo Game Show 98 Spring. Following on from the previous page, it details the walkthrough for both Snake and Katsuko as they navigate the events of June 4th in Elgedia. The guide for Snake covers areas within the royal palace, including the entrance, reception room, and courtyard, as well as the museum. It outlines actions like moving between locations, examining the surroundings, thinking about key characters, Mina, Priscilla, Monica, and interacting with them. Screenshots show Mina discussing her move to Japan, and Snake offering comfort to Priscilla, reflecting their complex relationship. Katsuko's guide focuses on the Hotel Rukanshe and the dance hall. Her steps involve entering the hotel, navigating floors, entering rooms, and using the phone. Interactions with characters like Yuji and Mina are detailed. Screenshots depict Katsuko's surprise at encountering Yuji in an unexpected location, and a portrait of Priscilla reminiscing about the past, highlighting her surprisingly down-to-earth nature. The guide also includes a character portrait of a blonde woman, likely Monica, who is mentioned in the walkthroughs. The page provides essential steps for players to progress through these interconnected storylines. This page dives into a strategy guide for Legend of Heroes IV, a Tear of Vermilion, specifically detailing the journey through the Forsha Kingdom, titled The Path the Lone Wolf Walked. It features a flowchart showing the progression of locations, starting from Dilt Checkpoint and moving through the Witch's Coastline, Aloza, Dorufes, and ultimately leading towards Geldo's Hill via the Unforgettable Road. The guide provides tactical information for key points in the journey. In Aloza, it instructs players to seek out Joanna after meeting with the knight Julzel, noting that she can be met after staying at the inn. It also hints at the significance of a nightmare, tied to Chris's music box in Ragpick Village. Moving on to Darsrufs. The guide emphasizes the need to prepare equipment before challenging the tower. It describes how to bypass the gatekeeper by interacting with people in town. Discovering the gatekeeper's child, Alice, wants to play. Helping Alice allows access to the tower. Screenshots show characters interacting in various locations, including inside buildings and outside the tower. Additionally, the page includes a bestiary section, detailing 2 early enemies. The Grey Wolf Pack is easily defeated with magic from Chris and Stella. The Death Cargo, however, boasts high defense against physical attacks, making magic attacks from Chris and Stella essential for victory, while Julio is best off defending. The reviewer emphasizes that magic is highly effective against the Death Cargo. This guide section for Legend of Heroes IV details the Doruf's tower ascent and escape. Players are instructed to navigate to the 4th floor, bypassing the basement and annex. On the 3rd floor, take the right staircase to reach Hakbadat's room. There, they meet Dul Tizzle, a swordsman who knew the White Witch. He reveals her past and guides the party through a secret passage towards Rude Castle to escape the tower. Encounters include large bats and rampaging apes, best handled with Julio and Stella's attacks, and Chris's support magic. The rampaging apes are vulnerable to Stella's thunder magic. The guide also cautions that the escape isn't complete until the party fights through the town, suggesting frequent use of Dulzel's special moves and Stella's vacuum slash. The goal after escaping is to reach a location connected to the White Witch's history. A map of the tower is provided. This page presents a comprehensive item list for Legend of Heroes IV, offering detailed statistics for various equipment and accessories that aren't readily visible within the game itself. It serves as an essential reference, noting that some items might have unexpected utility beyond their primary stats. The guide explains how to interpret the data table, covering modifiers for attack, defense, magic defense, agility, wisdom, spirit, luck, price, and providing comments on effects and equipable characters, like Julio, Chris, Stella, and others using handy abbreviations. The introduction to the weapons section points out that while high stats are generally good, factors like luck and accuracy can also significantly impact a weapon's effectiveness. The table lists numerous weapons including various swords, knives, spears, throwing weapons, and staves, detailing their specific statistical adjustments. A screenshot shows a typical shop interface, illustrating where these items might be obtained or managed in the game world. This page continues the comprehensive item guide for Legend of Heroes IV, detailing defensive gear, accessories, and consumable items with their hidden stats and effects. The armor section lists various clothing and armor types, from simple cloth and leather to more robust and unique sets, providing stats for defense, magic defense, and other attributes. There's specific advice here. Warrior classes should prioritize magic defense, while magic users need to focus on physical defense and agility. Following is the shield section, covering different shield types like small, large, and unique shields, again showing their defensive capabilities and other modifiers. Finally, the page details accessories and consumable items. The accessory section includes rings that boost stats like agility, wisdom, luck, and magic resistance, as well as items like pendants and headwear. A helpful note advises that while accessories aren't essential for progression, stocking up on consumables like recovery items and status cures is crucial for survival. The consumable section lists various potions for healing, revival, and curing status ailments. This detailed breakdown of non-visible stats and effects is invaluable for optimizing character builds and preparing for challenging encounters in the game. This page is a story and strategy guide feature for a SEGA Panzer Dragoon RPG, known internationally as Panzer Dragoon Saga. It focuses on a pivotal moment in the story, titled Craymen Dies. The large portrait depicts Craymen, a key character. The text sections detail his motivations, his clash with the Empire and the Emperor, his ambition, and ultimately his fate. The page explains how the Empire seeks to control the power of the Tower using Azel, and how Craymen rises up against them, only for his fate to be sealed. It discusses the Emperor's limitless ambition and his belief in controlling the power of the ancient era. Further sections describe the Tower awakens and the heart of Azel explodes, hinting at the dramatic events that unfold. Screenshots show key cutscenes from the game, depicting confrontations between characters like Crayman, the Emperor, Edge, and Azel. The final section, titled Crayman Entrusts Everything to Edge, signifies the passing of responsibility to the protagonist, Edge, asking him to protect the world and Azazel. It summarizes the high stakes and emotional climax of this part of the game, highlighting Crayman's final moments and his legacy entrusted to Edge. This Azel, Panzer Dragoon RPG Guide. Azel Strategy Guide Revealed. Part 6 focuses on strategy and lore. It explains how to get the Dragon Relief and the Companion Logi, a must-have for fans. The guide then explores the story's progression, specifically after the defeat of the Guardian, detailing Edge's escape with a Gazel and a message from Gash. The page reveals the true nature of the Seekers, previously thought to be scavengers. They're actually a secret society seeking old-world destruction, potentially to break free from the ancient era's dominance. Gash is revealed as a key Seeker figure, implying the encounter with Edge was planned. The guide concludes by questioning the Seekers' continued existence and their ultimate goal, hinting at their motivations and their relationship with Abizel and Edge. Screenshots illustrate the key events. The next page dives into the latter half of Day 4 in the Chunsoft sound novel Mashi, where the story is rapidly approaching its climax. It follows the distinct paths of several characters. For Amamiya Keima, his investigation intensifies as he finally uncovers crucial information about the culprit's modus operandi, learning that the criminal's ideas predated the commercial release of certain games. The article details several bad ends that Keima might encounter if his actions go wrong, including failures related to an earthquake, losing crucial evidence, and failing to successfully tail a suspect. Meanwhile, the storyline for Tobisawa Yohei takes a surprising turn, with a sudden wedding announcement that leaves those around him reeling. The page poses a cliffhanger question about whether he will actually go through with the marriage and the fate of the child involving Yoshimi and Yuki. Takamine Takashi's plotline involves a violent confrontation as he faces retribution from people he's been antagonizing, leading to a physical altercation and potential police involvement. The guide emphasizes that these events lead into the game's dramatic Day 5, and notes that this is the final part of their bad end feature for the game, encouraging players to tackle the conclusion themselves. Screenshots accompany each character's section, illustrating key moments from their respective narratives. The text delves into the multiple bad ends players can experience in the sound novel Mashi, focusing on Day 4 and 5 scenarios. Shikita Masashi faces demise through a police investigation stemming from a bar incident, or through reckless drinking fueled by a pachinko win. Hosoi Mikiko's misfortune arises from bizarre choices like a parasite diet and encounters with a persistent pickup artist, leading to violent attacks and unusual eating habits. Ichikawa Fumiaki's storyline centers on his relationship with Akiko. He faces heartbreak and mental instability, potentially triggered by a gift, and issues with his bound hand, resulting in tragic scenarios involving Akiko's fate or the breakdown of their relationship. Screenshots highlight these distinct and often bizarre paths to their unfortunate ends. This page features an interview with Ito Saori, the actress who portrayed Hosoi Mikiko in the sound novel Machi Town. The article delves into her experience playing the character, known for her distinctive appearance and storyline. Ito Saori discusses her background in comedy and how she approached the role of Mikiko. She shares interesting anecdotes about the production process, including the specific measures taken to make her appear larger for the part, such as wearing towels and layered clothing. She recounts the surprising instruction from the director to avoid losing weight and even try to gain weight, finding the opposite request, to stay as she is, easier to handle. She also mentions the memorable wedding dress scene. The piece includes a profile section detailing her vital statistics and hobbies, which include swimming and taking snap photos. There's also feedback from readers commenting on her portrayal of Mikiko, noting her expressive performance. This provides a fascinating behind-the-scenes look at the creation of one of Machichi's memorable characters, offering insight into the commitment required for the role and the challenges faced by the actress. This page features an interview with Morikawa Hikaru, the actor who played the Saturday role in the Shichiokai group from the game Machi. He shares his journey into acting and his experience portraying the character, admitting initial nervousness about the role, but ultimately enjoying it. Morikawa talks about his past, recalling a student life filled with fighting, and contrasting it with his current calmer demeanor. He discusses his hobbies, including a fondness for fighting games, though he prefers button mashing over memorizing moves. He fondly remembers playing the SEGA Saturn when he was younger, specifically mentioning a game called Jippy Race. The page also provides a profile listing his details, including his special skills like drumming and being an arm wrestling champion in Kyushu. Reader comments are included, complimenting his performance in Machi. The section concludes by inviting readers to submit requests for information about people they're curious about, offering a chance to win signed autograph boards by lottery. This page features a guide for the game Princess Quest, offering advice for players who might be stuck during the investigation phase. It highlights the importance of utilizing both the male protagonist, Willows, and the female protagonist, Will, as switching between them is crucial for effective questioning and progression. The guide suggests checking Willow's room for investigation notes and trying conversations as both characters. Beyond the main story, the page details numerous sub-events that can occur, which are not essential for completing the game, but add flavor and character interactions. It emphasizes that listening carefully is key to finding these events. The guide lists many sub-events tied to various characters like Custard, Charlotte, Milfew, and others, often triggered in specific locations or chapters after certain conditions are met, offering players extra content to discover as they explore the game world. This page continues the guide for Princess Quest, focusing on the challenging dungeon known as the Spirit Palace. Chelos warns that the palace is full of danger, and carelessness can be fatal, emphasizing that monsters roam the halls. The guide notes that some monsters can only be defeated by magic, while others are resistant to physical attacks, advising players to use the provided data as a reference when exploring. The page then presents a section detailing the monsters encountered in the Spirit Palace, featuring their images, HP, and brief descriptions. It covers various creatures you'll face within the dungeon depths. Following the monster data is a list of recovery and parameter-enhancing items available in the game. It explains that health and magic recovery are handled entirely through items purchased in the item shop in the Pleasure Town, and advises regular purchases of recovery items. The list includes items for HP/MP recovery, and items to increase character stats like strength, agility, and defense, highlighting their uses and benefits during dungeon exploration and combat. This page dives into the financial side of managing your baseball club in Let's Make a Professional Baseball Team, focusing specifically on the crucial decision of setting ticket prices. The guide highlights that choosing the right price point can be tricky and provides data to help players make informed choices. It presents an example showing how different ticket prices impact attendance and overall revenue over a month, breaking down income sources like ticket sales, concessions, and merchandise. This illustrates the trade-offs players face. Lower prices might mean more fans but less revenue per person, while higher prices could deter attendance but boost per-ticket income. The page also offers practical guidelines for setting ticket prices based on your stadium size. It includes data for various stadium types, from small parks to large domes, suggesting minimum attendance figures and potential maximum income achievable at different price levels. This section serves as a handy reference for tailoring your pricing strategy to your specific stadium capacity and aiming for optimal revenue generation. Overall, this page is essential reading for players looking to master the business side of the game and maximize their team's profits. This page continues the deep dive into the mechanics of Let's Make a Professional Baseball Team, moving from financial strategy to the crucial aspect of personnel. Here, the focus is entirely on the pitcher system leaders, presenting detailed ability data for 40 fictional characters who can become managers or coaches in your club. The page lays out a large table listing each character's name, salary, age, blood type, and various ability scores, all rated on a scale from 0 to 7. These stats cover everything from their potential growth in the batter or pitcher systems to specific baseball skills like pitch speed, control, and breaking balls, plus their strategic thinking and clutch performance. The guide emphasizes that these numbers are key to understanding how these leaders will influence your team. It's highlighted that these individuals first appear in the game as players, and if you spot them in the draft, they are highly recommended acquisitions due to their potential to become valuable leaders later on. The next page continues the in-depth guide for Let's Make a Professional Baseball Team, shifting focus to the fielding system leaders. Similar to the previous section on pitchers, this page presents a comprehensive data table for 40 individuals who can become valuable managers or coaches for your team. The table lists each character's name, salary, blood type, and age, along with a variety of skill ratings crucial for evaluating their potential impact on your club's batting and fielding development. These ratings cover aspects like overall fielding ability, batting skill, strategic thinking, physical strength, technical skill, chance ability, speed, fielding vision, defense, throwing arm, and leadership. CL. Each stat is rated on a scale, likely influencing how effectively these leaders improve your players or strategize during games. The guide implies that these individuals also appear as players in the game initially. Identifying and recruiting them early, perhaps through the draft, is highlighted as a smart strategy as they transition into influential coaching roles later in their careers. This detailed breakdown of their abilities is essential for players looking to build a strong coaching staff and maximize their team's potential in Let's Make a Professional Baseball Team. This page continues the detailed guide for Let's Make a Professional Baseball Team, featuring a data table for more potential players and coaching staff. The table provides various stats similar to the previous page, including salary, age, blood type, and key skill ratings like strategy, batting, fielding, speed, and defense, crucial for team building. The main highlight of this page is the reveal of a secret technique, Urawaza, for the same game. This command allows players to bypass the usual random selection of 4 secretaries at the start of the game, and instead choose from all 32 available characters. The page details the specific directional button and shoulder button sequence needed to activate this selection mode. It also features profiles, including portraits, names, and ages, for all 32 secretaries that can be unlocked using this method, providing players with a comprehensive look at the available options for their in-game assistant. The bottom section includes information for readers to submit questions or feedback about the game. This page features a vibrant illustration of the main cast from the critically acclaimed Sakura Wars series, highlighting the upcoming release of the Sakura Wars OVA Fanbook Volume 1. This fanbook is being released around the time the cherry blossoms bloomed, much anticipated by fans. It serves as a companion piece to the Sakura Wars OVA, diving into the story and characters. The content includes a story guide utilizing footage from the OVA itself, detailed profiles of the characters starting from their entry into the Flower Troop, setting materials specifically created for the OVA, and other exciting planned features. This first volume covers the events from the first act, including Flower Capital's Flower Battle and Let's Unleash the Divine Sword on the Cherry Blossoms. The fanbook is scheduled for a late April release, priced at an estimated 1,100 yen, and is published by SoftBank. This page is titled Passion Langrisser Volume 1 and focuses on the popular tactical RPG series, specifically highlighting the excitement surrounding the release of the new game, Langrisser vs. The page delves into various aspects of Langrisser Vaughn, including discussing potential mysteries within its scenario, such as the ancient magic civilization, Gizelov's experiments, and the foreboding Red Star. There's also a mention of a returning segment called Revival FF Battle, featuring character names like F Uda and F Moto, possibly related to gameplay discussions or challenges, accompanied by a somewhat humorous photo. Additionally, the page announces the upcoming reveal of winners for a hidden scenario contest for Langrisser vs. It also features an update on the Mesa Can Network radio segment, confirming that popular personalities like Tomoko Kawakami and John Matsuzawa will be discussing Langrisser V, and mentions an appearance at the Tokyo Game Show. The page includes charming artwork of Ruin and Tiaris from Langrisser 2i, and a call for fan mail and illustrations for Satoshi Urushihara, the character designer, indicating an upcoming interview. The various sections provide fans with insights into the new game, related media, and ways to interact with the series creators and community. This page features the 6th installment of the official Imadio fan page, focusing on a contest related to the Sega Saturn game Imadio. The main highlight is the final round of the Who is Snake contest, where fans submitted their theories about the true identity of a character named Snake within the game's storyline. The page presents several fan submissions, each offering a different theory. Some popular guesses among the fans include characters like Kyuju Yuichi, Amagi Kojiru, and Kudu Kaiko, with various plot points and character relationships from the game cited as evidence. The theories delve into specific scenarios, such as character birthdays, gifts, secret transmitters, and connections to organizations or locations like El Sholdia and Altair. Interestingly, the page also includes a box titled, Snake is Still Undecided?, implying that despite the fan theories, the actual identity might still be a mystery, or perhaps revealed later in the game's narrative, referencing a date like March 12th. There are small illustrations scattered throughout, including a depiction of the character Adonis holding a bear head, a chibi drawing of a main character, and a group shot of Amadio characters alongside text mentioning other games like Eve and Kaitu Ranma and the SoftBank publisher. Overall, this page captures the fan engagement with Amadio, showcasing the community's deep dive into the game's mysteries and characters through the lens of the Amadio radio show. The next page is the Amadio Illustration Gallery, showcasing fan art related to Amadio and other games. There are several colorful illustrations, including a cute chibi character wearing animal ears, a dynamic action scene with multiple characters, a character bathed in light, and a wedding scene. These illustrations feature characters from games like Amadio, Even the Lost One, and Meltylancer. The accompanying text includes comments from the fan artists, expressing their enjoyment of the games and characters. The page also features a section called The Finished Salon, which is a forum for players who have cleared Even the Lost One to discuss the game and share their thoughts, avoiding spoilers. They invite players to send in letters about their experiences, theories, and discoveries from the game. Additionally, there's a list of favorite voice actors, ranked by fans, showing the popularity of voice talent among the readership. Finally, there is a call for more letters, specifically asking for feedback on the Amadio games, favorite voice actors, and general opinions, directing submissions to the magazine's editorial department. It seems the magazine is actively engaging with its readers and fostering discussion around popular games like the Amadio series and Eve. This page previews new and upcoming titles in the arcades, specifically highlighting Volume 22. The main feature is Asura Blade, Sword of Doom, a fighting action game from Fuki that is scheduled to start operation soon and supports two-player versus play. The game is set in a fantasy world of swords and magic, where warriors gather to seek the legendary Asura's Sword after a great conflict between dragons. It features 8 distinct characters, each with unique characteristics fitting the fantasy setting, such as a skilled greatsword warrior and a necromancer. While the controls are simple, using an 8-direction lever and 3 attack buttons, the game system is described as refined and deep. The gameplay includes weapon-based combat, where a character's moves change depending on whether they are holding their weapon. There is also a Kiryoku, spirit, gauge used for special techniques like magic weapons, magic bursts, special moves, and powering up attacks. Examples of system mechanics include a blowaway attack that sends opponents flying and allows for pursuit, a pushback move during guard, the ability to throw and re-equip weapons, and passive health recovery when the lever is neutral. The reviewer notes that despite simple controls, the system offers considerable depth. This page continues the preview of the arcade fighting game Asura Blade, Sword of Doom, giving players a closer look at some of its diverse roster of characters. Featured here are 8 of the fighters: Yashao, Lightning, Alice, Taros, Footy, Zam, Goat, and Rosemary. For each character, the page provides a detailed portrait, their name, a brief descriptive text about them, and a list of their special moves, along with the required command inputs. The layout shows gameplay screenshots at the top, depicting various character matchups and special attacks, followed by the individual character profiles below. A concluding message from the developer, Fuki, reiterates the game's core features previously mentioned, emphasizing the unique weapon system where characters can throw and re-equip their weapons, the various special moves and power-up states like magic weapons and boosts, and highlights the simple 3-button control scheme despite the game's depth. This page serves as a comprehensive introduction to the game's combatants and reinforces the exciting gameplay promised. This page dives into the world of SNK, featuring reports on events and fan engagement. One section details an event held at the SNK Tokyo branch for The Last Blade, showcasing a tournament where fans competed. The report includes photos of the participants and the venue, highlighting the excitement, cosplay, and free play available. The winners are mentioned, including individuals and a team. Another major focus is on fan activities centered around the King of Fighters. There's an announcement for a KOF illustration contest and a character popularity poll. Fans were encouraged to submit original artwork and vote for their favorite SNK characters, including those from games like Real Bout, Fatal Fury 2. The page also features a selection of submitted fan illustrations, with a strong emphasis on the popular character Iori Yagami, who appears in several different styles of art. The accompanying text includes brief comments from the artists and reactions to the popularity poll results, noting Iori's strong showing. The overall tone is celebratory of the SNK community's passion. This page unveils the details of the 2 new fighters joining the fray in Real Bout Fatal Fury 2. The Newcomers. Out of the game's impressive roster of 22 characters, the largest in the series, the spotlight is on the explosive Chinese martial artist Li Shengfei and the powerful American boxer Rick Stroud. Screenshots showcase Li Shengfei executing various moves, including rolling elbow attacks, anti-air techniques that launch opponents high, and explosive ground-based strikes. Rick Stroud's boxing prowess is highlighted with screenshots of his dashing rapid punches, tornado-like uppercuts, and devastating combo finishers. The accompanying text emphasizes their speedy and powerful fighting styles. The page also touches upon the refined line movement system, a signature element of the Fatal Fury series. Building on the system from Real Bout Fatal Fury Special, it features further enhancements for intense offense and defense on the lines. While typically a two-line battle, some stages offer a single line, adding strategic variety to the gameplay. The player select screen is shown, teasing the full lineup of 22 characters awaiting players. 179. SEGA Rally 2 Report Volume 6 guides players to victory in championship mode. The article emphasizes consistent performance is key, as finishing poorly in early stages, especially the desert course, hinders chances of overall first place. The championship spans desert, mountain, snowy, and Riviera courses. The report details strategies for each stage, focusing on the importance of precise driving, particularly on the challenging snowy track. For desert, the article advises staying in fourth gear and utilizing inside grass for optimal cornering while avoiding water puddles. The developers share that the seemingly simple desert course design, informed by rally drivers, requires skillful line selection and driving precision, despite its straightforward layout. Screenshots are provided to illustrate techniques. This report covers the remaining championship courses in SEGA Rally 2, Mountain, Snowy, and Riviera. Mountain focuses on mastering hairpin turns, emphasizing downshifting and course width usage, and was initially planned with more elevation changes. Snowy requires memorization and precise steering, particularly through S-curves. It's drift-friendly, with significant deceleration needed before tight corners. The developers initially conceived a different snow course. Riviera, an all-tarmac course, challenges players with 2 hairpins, where side braking is advised. The rest of the course is mostly full speed, emphasizing grip driving. Riviera was inspired by Monaco and evolved significantly during development. The page also briefly discusses the Lancia Stratos and hints at updates for the twin version, including screenshots of each course. This page features a reader feedback section for the SEGA AM3 team's work on Virtual-On, specifically mentioning a project tentatively titled Virtual-On Crossover. Readers sent in postcards with their thoughts and requests. Feedback includes comments on past magazine quizzes, suggestions for future contests like a coloring competition, and observations about the growing popularity of Virtual-On in arcades, noting an increase in high school players. Readers also submitted requests for game features, such as the ability to customize Virtualoids, citing Balbaspo as an example. There's discussion relating Virtual-On design elements to other mecha anime, like Gundam and Zabungle. The editor acknowledges all feedback, but notes the Virtual-On development team is currently very busy. The page also includes a charming piece of fan art depicting the Virtualoid Balbaspo sitting on a large leaf. This page features a lineup of exciting merchandise for Virtual-On fans. Following the t-shirts released in June, SEGA is adding desktop clocks featuring Virtual-On Oratorio Tangram designs to their prize lineup, expected to appear in arcade UFO catchers in July. There are 5 different clock designs, including the iconic symbol marks and key Virtualoids like Temjin, Raiden, and Feian. These are clearly designed with care to be display-worthy items for your desk. Also highlighted is a popular prize lottery section, which is currently offering Virtual-On collection figures. They mention different versions of the figures, including the limited Ver.1 set and a Ver.2 set, featuring popular mechs such as Temjin, Raiden, Viper 2, and Feian's 2-Pi color variant. These figures are noted as being produced with careful supervision from the Virtual-On design staff, ensuring quality. Readers can apply via postcard for a chance to win these highly sought-after prizes. Finally, there's a preview for the next issue, promising extensive coverage of the results from the Virtual-On National Tournament Finals. This is absolutely essential reading for any dedicated Virtual-On player looking to see who reigns supreme. This page is from the official Corner AM2 Express weekly column, Volume 92, featuring a special character check for SEGA's upcoming fighting game, Fighting Vipers 2. Following up on previous character introductions, this installment focuses on the fan-favorite character, Honey, The page provides a detailed look at Honey, including a striking illustration of her unique maid outfit. Her profile lists her as an 18-year-old female whose specialty lies in aerial and leaping techniques, and describes her personality as cute. Her backstory reveals she's an apparel designer who fights in her own homemade rubber armor suit simply because she wants to stand out. Her character point highlights her ability to move freely around the ring, utilizing aerial attacks, back attacks, and employing ring-out strategies. Screenshots demonstrate several of Honey's moves, showcasing her diverse techniques including throws and distinctive attacks like the beach attack and combo cat kick. These examples give players a glimpse into her dynamic and unpredictable fighting style. Fighting Vipers 2 is presented as a competitive fighting game developed by AM2, slated for a spring release on the Model 3 Step 2 arcade board. This page continues the AM2 Express Weekly's deep dive into Fighting Vipers 2, this time featuring two distinct characters, Grace and Picky. First up is Grace, a 21-year-old woman specializing in kick combinations. Her profile notes a personality that seems cool but hides deep passion. Her backstory reveals a dramatic turn from aspiring figure skater after being betrayed, leading her to the fighting world, fueled by internal anger. An intriguing detail is that she is constantly harassed by someone named Viper. Her strength lies in sharp, polished kick combos, using moves like the sit spin against low guards and heel drop against high guards to mix up opponents. Shown moves include diverse kick attacks and even a throw. Next is Picky, a 16-year-old male whose specialty is skateboard techniques, characterized by a personality that hates losing. His story starts with him taking up skateboarding to impress a crush but later shifting focus. Curiously, his story states he is fighting as Viper, adding a layer of complexity or contradiction to Grace's narrative. Picky's fighting style emphasizes speed and new techniques, as his attack power is lower. Utilizing quick moves with good reach and mastering his expanded moveset are key. His attacks incorporate his skateboard, and he even has unique abilities like wall climbing. This week's Fighting Vipers 2 focus is on two new fighters. Raxel, a 20-year-old rock star, uses guitar techniques and a narcissistic personality. He dropped out of school to pursue fame, then used his guitar as a weapon after being forced into inactivity. His technical fighting style is for intermediate to advanced players, emphasizing combinations and throws. Key moves include the death spin kick and guitar thrust. Tokyo, the 18-year-old Justice Viper, fights for what's right with spinning combinations. From a kabuki family, he joined a team and later quit, but seeing his comrades struggle motivated his return. His evolved, offensive style uses combinations and delays. New moves include a new downward throw and a spinning kick combo, enhancing his aggressive close-range game. Fighting Vipers 2 introduces Jane and Bon, two formidable fighters. Jane relies on charged attacks, with the Tornado Punch as her signature unblockable move. Her history involves a thwarted marine ambition and a current life as a trailer driver, all while perfecting her strength. Screenshots showcase moves like the Brain Buster and Breakneck Driver. Bon focuses on powerful single hits and strategic cancels. His Super Straight and Iron Mountain are key, but their effectiveness as guard breakers is limited. Driven by a search for his father in Armstone City and a desire to confront the corrupt mayor, Bon utilizes techniques like the Jingy Break, Straight Punch, capable of stunning, and the Fury Soul Crush Throw, Dragon Uppercut, alongside the Yakuza Kick. Some moves seem newly introduced or refined. The next page introduces Sandman, a powerful grappler from Fighting Vipers 2. His style is defined by devastating throws and versatile throw combos. Key techniques shown include the classic giant swing, the heavy-hitting generator punch, and the overdrive, a throw that can lead into further attacks or unique follow-up throws like a headbutt. Sandman's profile remains enigmatic, listing him as male, age unknown, specializing in throws, and being taciturn, with his story primarily revolving around his love for the number 3 and fighting as his sole means of expression. A commentary section reflects on the game's dynamic presentation, effective use of environmental elements like walls, and the satisfying intensity of combat, emphasizing the drive to thoroughly defeat opponents. There's also a lighthearted mention of a staff member influencing the game's development direction. Finally, the page looks ahead to future coverage focusing on the CPU battles, hinting at a new stage branching system that adapts based on the player's fighting style, and promising unique CPU opponent behaviors and presentations, including a screenshot of a battle in the Great Museum stage against an opponent named Tokyo. This page features the weekly horoscope presented by Hakozaki's mother, covering the period from March 20th to March 26th. The main illustration depicts the fortune teller herself. There's a highlighted section for this week's lucky person, which features Akari Kamizaki, a character from the Battle Athlete series, identified as an Aries. This section provides a brief outlook on her gold, health, work/study, and love luck, noting that health is getting better, and work/study requires effort, while love is enjoyable. The core of the page is a grid offering fortunes for each zodiac sign, split into predictions for boys and girls. Each sign, from Aries to Pisces, has a small icon and a short paragraph describing their week's prospects. The fortunes cover various aspects of life and offer advice for the coming days. At the bottom, a simple color key indicates the general rating for each sign's fortune. This page delves into the subtle relationship between games and art, contemplating the future found within this connection. The article, penned by scholar and writer Narrated Toshifuse, argues that the advent of digital media represents a revolution comparable to the printing press, accelerating a wave of change whether we are conscious of it or not. He uses Chunsoft's adventure game Machi as a prime example, highlighting how digital media integrates significant amounts of text directly onto the screen, much like text appeared in certain historical artworks, such as Simone Martini's Annunciation, where words flow from an angel's mouth. Dr. Fuse notes that unlike traditional linear narratives like novels, games such as Machi are interactive, with the player's choices directly influencing the story's progression. This blending of visual art, text, and interactivity is presented as a key characteristic of digital media. The author observes the increasing presence of text in digital visuals, from game screens to television and the internet, suggesting that the future of visual culture, or the future beyond image culture, is already here, exemplified by reading text within a game like Machi. The page includes details about the game Machi, noting it's an adventure title from Chunsoft, released in January 1998, along with a playful illustration of Dr. Fuse himself, seemingly excited about the game. This page is the Secret Technique Corner, showcasing user-submitted cheat codes and hidden methods for various SEGA Saturn games, ranked by level. It features a fun illustration of a character holding a Saturn controller, embodying the spirit of uncovering these secrets. Starting with the beginner level technique for Nile No Yoke, a simulation game, players can normally not enter enemy cities. However, by moving the map cursor to an enemy city and inputting a specific command, you can bypass this restriction, allowing deeper strategic insight into the enemy's territory. The ultimate level highlights special commands for Burning Rangers. By pausing the game and accessing the music menu, players can input button combinations to gain significant advantages. These commands grant effects such as full health recovery, increasing max health blocks, gaining more continues, resetting virus progression, skipping levels, unlocking all weapons, enabling auto-reload, and maximizing ammo. These are seriously powerful tools for mastering the game. Finally, the intermediate level covers Mahjong Gakuen Sai. This game features various female characters, and a technique is presented to unlock them all for free matches. This involves starting the game with a specific password from a previous issue, then finding and defeating characters at the in-game game center, saving progress, and repeating the process until all girls are available for challenge. The page concludes with a call for more submissions of secret techniques from readers, encouraging players to share their discoveries. The weekly soft review focuses on upcoming SEGA Saturn games releasing between March 20th and 26th. Two games are highlighted: Neon Genesis Evangelion. Girlfriend of Steel, an adventure game releasing on March 26th, is lauded for its story, pacing, and character focus, especially on mana. While the visuals are clean, some issues with voice volume and loading times exist. The game receives an average score of 7.66 and is considered a worthwhile side story for fans. Also releasing on March 26th is The King of Fighters 97. This fighting game port is praised for its smooth gameplay, large roster, 29 characters, and the benefits of 4 MB RAM cartridge support. The inclusion of a training mode is a major plus. While some small differences exist from the arcade version, the game is considered an excellent addition to the Saturn's library, earning an average score of 8.0. The page also features reviewer profiles. This page continues the weekly software reviews, focusing on 3 more titles scheduled for release around March 26th. First up is Primal Rage, a unique fighting game where giant prehistoric creatures battle it out. The reviews highlight the striking graphics, but note difficulties with executing special moves and limited character variety, giving it an average score of 5.0. Some compare it to a dinosaur-themed Mortal Kombat, but it seems the execution wasn't quite there for the reviewers. Next is Hexen, a 3D action game in the vein of Doom. This port brings the dark fantasy first-person perspective to the Saturn. Reviewers point out its high difficulty, potential for 3D motion sicknesses, and the enjoyable exploration and item collection aspects. The ability to choose between the warrior, cleric, or mage adds replayability. It scores an average of 6.0. Finally, we look at Robo Q Park. This racing game focuses on collecting and customizing the titular small cars. Reviewers appreciate the strategic element of choosing cars for specific courses, and the fun of building a collection. While some found it a bit repetitive, the overall sentiment is positive for its charm and unique focus within the racing genre, resulting in an average score of 6.66. This page continues the software reviews, starting with Tokimeki Memorial Drama Series Volume 2, Irodori no Love Song. This adventure game focuses on the character Ayaka Katagiri. Reviewers had mixed feelings. A female user found the rhythm game elements frustrating and the story slow, giving it a 6. Another praised the story depth and character focus, calling it superior to the previous volume and scoring it a 9. A guest reviewer appreciated the fan service and simple adventure system, noting the good voice acting and minigames, scoring it a 7. The average score is 7.33. Next is Yoshimura Shogi, a Japanese chess simulation. Reviewers found it suitable for intermediate to advanced players, highlighting its deep strategy despite a simple appearance. They discussed the Sume Shogi mode and the Kripu's strong play. All three reviewers gave it a score of 7, resulting in an average of 7.0. Finally, The House of the Dead is reviewed. This arcade light gun shooter port received high praise, despite a visual downgrade from the arcade version. Reviewers lauded the intense suspense, satisfying boss battles, and accurate feel. The Saturn mode, with character variations, was particularly well received, as were the smooth story progression and branching paths. Scores were high, with one reviewer giving it an 8 and two others a 9, leading to an impressive average of 8.66. This software review covers 4 titles. Courier Crisis, a fast-paced bicycle delivery game, earned praise for its fun gameplay, rewarding tricks, and surprising elements, averaging a 7.66. Dungeon Master Nexus, a 3D dungeon RPG with immersive atmosphere and challenging combat, received an impressive 8.33, despite potential control adjustments. Naval Ops 2I with Power-Up Kit, a strategy expansion, offers improved processing, but suffers from input delay. Finally, Technomotor transforms the SEGA Saturn into a music creation tool, offering a familiar interface for users interested in music production, making it a great option for beginners or synth enthusiasts. This page presents the new soft schedule, offering a look ahead at upcoming SEGA Saturn software releases. It features a guide on how to interpret the schedule, explaining the abbreviations used for genres like action, RPG, adventure, simulation, puzzle, and others, along with details on compatible peripherals such as controllers, mice, and various cables. It also notes age restrictions and clarifies special symbols indicating new titles or those with changed names. The main content is a comprehensive list of games scheduled for release in March, April, and May, plus some listed as undated. For each entry, the schedule provides the release date, game title, price, manufacturer, genre, and compatibility notes. Highlights include popular titles like The King of Fighters 97, The House of the Dead, Sakura Taisen 2, Riven, the sequel to Myst, Dragon Force 2, Bomberman Wars, Super Robot Wars F, Grandia Digital Museum, and Shining Force 2 I Scenario 2. The schedule shows a diverse range of genres coming soon, from fighting and shooting games to RPGs, strategy simulations, and adventure titles, promising a busy few months for Saturn owners. This page continues the comprehensive new soft schedule, offering a look at SEGA Saturn games slated for release from June onwards, including many highly anticipated titles with 아직 결정되지 않은 dates spanning into the fall, winter, spring, and throughout 1998. The schedule provides details for each listing, including the planned release date, game title, price, developer or publisher, genre, and compatibility notes like supported peripherals or player counts. It reveals a robust lineup covering a wide spectrum of genres. Notable upcoming games mentioned include the fighting title Pocket Fighter, the horror-adventure Deep Fear, the beloved RPG Lunar Eternal Blue, the highly anticipated survival horror Resident Evil 2, the fighting crossover Marvel Superheroes vs. Street Fighter, the arcade fighter Virtua Fighter 3, the platformer Rayman 2, and various simulation, adventure, and role-playing games like the Angelique series and Shining Force 2 Eyes Scenario 3. The list also highlights games utilizing specific hardware like steering wheels, modems, or light guns, showcasing the diverse experiences available. This continued schedule demonstrates the ongoing support for the Sega Saturn console, with a promising mix of sequels, ports, and new IPs across multiple genres. This page features a special mail order section from the magazine. There's a little note mentioning the upcoming release of Sakura Taisen 2, Sakura Wars 2, and the release of new telephone cards for both Sakura Wars and Sonic. But the main event here is the reintroduction of Sonic the Hedgehog interior goods, brought back due to popular demand. As any fan knows, surrounding yourself with your favorite characters just makes life cooler. You can find a range of items to deck out your room in Sonic style, including curtains, multi-covers for furniture, and various cushions in different series patterns like Jungle, Space, Gingham, and Check, all featuring Sonic and his pals like Tails and Knuckles. Beyond the interior decor, there's also plush toys in different sizes, a Sonic piggy bank, a cool Sonic Zippo lighter, and even iron patches. It's a great way for dedicated fans to show their love for the blue blur right in their living space. Ordering information and deadlines are also included here. This page is a mail order section presented by the magazine. It features a variety of merchandise from popular series of the time. Fans could order items like 1/6 scale figures from Sentimental Graffiti, Zippo lighters, and other goods related to Evangelion, and a wide range of items from Sakura Wars, including Zippos, action dolls, and mini-character collections. The page also lists miscellaneous goods under etc., such as phone cards, including one for Sonic, figures from the Sega Real Model series featuring characters from Virtual On like Temujin, Viper 2, and Raiden, and even a distinctive jacket associated with Jackie Bryant from Virtua Fighter. It essentially served as a direct shop for readers to acquire merchandise tied to the games and anime frequently covered in the magazine. Ordering instructions and contact details are also provided. SEGA Saturn Magazine is promoting its Reader Present campaign, previewing the upcoming issue which will cover Tokyo Game Show announcements, Sakura Wars 2, and game-related musicals. The magazine also lists its staff and seeks new writers. The giveaway invites readers to enter by sending a postcard with survey responses and personal details by April 3rd. Prizes include a choice of any Sega Saturn software, a demo of Welcome to Pia Carrot, an autographed Burning Rangers board, a Winter Heat t-shirt, and a hand towel featuring ASC2 game titles. The page also provides contact information and announces winners from the previous giveaway, who receive prizes such as Sega Saturn software, posters, telephone cards, and more. This page features an advertisement for the 3D sports game Tennis Arena. Available now for PlayStation and releasing on April 9th for Sega Saturn, it's priced at 5,800 yen plus tax for both versions. The ad highlights the enjoyment of playing and the joy of winning, emphasizing features like playing with up to 4 people simultaneously and having freedom over your shots. The game promises realistic play feel with varied courts and distinct characters, reproducing subtle ball changes through aftertouch effects. You can play on grass, clay, hard, or special courts designed for speed. Choose from characters with Tokui, meaning specialty or strong suit, play styles like serve and volley, big server, or power hitter, each having 2 types of powerful special shots. The game supports the multi-tap and multi-terminal 6 for multiplayer action. Screenshots show the game's 3D graphics and on-court action. Continuing the magazine's reader engagement, a present campaign is also promoted. By purchasing the game and sending in the included postcard by April 30th, you can enter to win prizes. The top prize is an invitation to the Japan vs. Croatia World Cup soccer match in France, June 20th local time, for 3 pairs, 6 people. Other prizes include Nike goods, France limited edition, with 3 winners for shoes and 5 for caps, plus 10 winners for UBI original t-shirts. The campaign is a great way to engage with the new UBI soft title. This page features Waku Waku Puyo Puyo Dungeon, an exclusive adventure RPG for the Sega Saturn. The artwork showcases 3 original characters central to this spin-off title: set within the whimsical Puyo Puyo universe but focusing on dungeon exploration. The game is promoted as an easy-to-play, relaxed RPG taking place in the mysterious theme park, Waku Waku Puyo Puyo Land, where the maps of attractions change with each visit. Players can choose from one of 3 main characters, promising varied experiences. The page also highlights a first press bonus, a special map bandana included in the package. The game was scheduled to open on April 2, 1998, with a suggested retail price of 5,800 yen, excluding tax. An all-free pass for Waku Waku Puyo Puyo Land is also mentioned, alongside a URL for the compile homepage for more information.